We're going to delve into some offensive and defensive rookie of the year odds. Going to talk about the draft as well, and maybe some other futures as well, Super Bowl odds, maybe some NBA stuff too. So before we get into it, please hit like, subscribe, comment below, share this video. Visit the link in the description from the merch store. As always, I'm wearing something from the merch store. It is our November is Sloth Month t-shirt. If you want this shirt or any of the other shirts you can see on here, you can get it 20% off sale right now. You can change the colors of any of these shirts. You can get them in long sleeve, hoodie, women's tank top, infant onesie, and other things. We have our famous apron. We have playing cards, mouse pad, baseball caps, mugs. We have a baby bib, blankets. We have everything here you could ever want. 20% off sale. You can get my books. The most recent one is Jerks of the College Years, which is it's just a book where I made fun of these wonderful people. And now that the draft's over, I can work on the next book that's coming out. So I'm excited about that. Also, my first book was The Safety and a Field Goal, which is a top 5 topic book about the NFL. In that book, in one of the chapters, I discussed one of the craziest combine interviews I've ever heard. And we just had a crazier one. So maybe we can get into that as well. And then please consider super chats and super stickers. That is the best way to support the show because, as I always say, we need to cross the poverty line because YouTube does not pay us anything. So we are joined tonight by Andy Iskoe from thelogicalapproach.com, which you can see on the screen here. Andy, how are you? How have you been these past couple of weeks?
I'm fine and doing well the last couple of weeks, getting fully immersed into the baseball season, while also involved in the NHL and NBA playoffs, which have been very interesting so far, and looking forward to what I consider the beginning of my football training camp, which is the release of the NFL schedule, at which time, hold on a second here.
Yeah.
There we go.
There it is.
There must be I wonder if there's like a bug in my connection somewhere there. Once the NFL schedule is released and we know each team's path that they must journey through to get to the 18-week season, then I will be spending a lot of time on a daily basis on the NFL. Putting a lot of the things together that I like to look at as we get closer to training camp, and of course, working that in with my college work as well. And then, of course, the next big event is usually right around the beginning of June, when all the football preview magazines hit the stands. NFL a little bit easier as far as the magazines go, because with the colleges, you still have transfer portal situations, right, with a lot of guys still, July, I think you can do something in July, but the NFL is pretty much set, other than things that occur during training camp. And the only thing that'll probably be missing from the NFL preview magazine is where Aaron Rodgers will be playing.
Well, yeah, we'll see about that. What is
although we will probably know that A.J. Brown is a Patriot.
Yeah, I think we have the Patriots' top beat reporter said that he will be a Patriot on June 1st, so I would tend to believe her. What you said, it's the beginning of your training camp now that the draft.
My training camp.
Yeah, you're a training camp. Yeah. Aside from reading the schedule when it comes out, like what's like the first thing, or maybe the first 2 things you do during your training camp just to prepare for the season?
Well, the first thing I do is I do put the schedule into a database that I create, and then I analyze the strength of schedule based upon there we go again. Let's see if we can get this fixed. We're going to have to deal with this. That's okay. I'm nothing special to look at, but it just looks like a
nice
ghost.
It's
thing
a
there. But what I do is I take a look at the strength of schedule, but I not only do that, I do my little point rating system for difficulty of schedule based upon sequencing of schedule. In other words, it's a negative for a team having to play 3 road games in a row.
Yeah.
So, for example, 2 straight road games might be worth a -1. 3 straight road games might be a -3. Something like that. Same reverse for home games, divisional games, etc. have certain points allowed. Certain games against certain teams. In other words, the strength of schedule is increased by playing the defending Super Bowl champion. Okay,
right.
My strength of schedule is reduced by playing the Super Bowl runner-up. Teams that won a playoff game might get these are various point values that I give. Teams that won a playoff game other than the Super Bowl champion and runner-up, and teams that lost a playoff game, teams that didn't make the playoff, uh, didn't make the playoffs, and I think I do it. I think it's the teams that were. I think it's now more than 6 games below 500. In other words, they'd be 5-12 or worse this past year. That's a
Right.
positive.
Okay.
In other words, a positive number means an easier schedule.
Sure.
As opposed to negative. Yeah.
And what about like the first thing you do? It's non-schedule specific. Like once you have everything schedule, like what do you do after that to get ready? Just curious.
Well, that takes a fair amount of time, because then I take a look and I go back and take a look at my historical. I think it goes back to 1991 just to get some ideas. Which teams and how much improvement are shown from, one year to the next. In other words, how many times has a team improved by 3 games from one season to the next, or worsened by 4 games or something like that, just to go back and review all that just to see what teams are in that position this year as far as that goes, and do my overall analysis or update my analysis, which I do a little bit during the off season, where I take a look at the historical trends for how many teams are likely to win 9 games, how many teams are likely to win 10 games, how many teams are likely to win 11 games, based upon an average of 4.2 teams on average will have 12 wins or more, something like that. And then I try to, as I evaluate the roster, are teams improved or weakened? Did they suffer any significant retirements or departures? Now the problem with that is that whereas my point values for difficulty of schedule, playing the Super Bowl champion, playing 3 straight road games, playing 4 straight division games, whatever it is, while those are subjective point values, they are applied consistently to every team that fits that category, as opposed to the effect of players lost versus gained. That's subjective on a team-by-team basis. So I don't place as great a deal into that. I just try to take a look at, when I come to that part of the analysis or the forecast, is a team likely to be better or worse based upon the change in the roster from last season to this season.
Okay. All right. Well, we know some changes that just happened with the NFL draft. I'm sure you watched it as many others did this past weekend. And I haven't talked to you about the draft at all, so I don't know if you had any overarching thoughts on it before we get into the specifics of each pick in the first round or whatever. What did you think of the draft?
I did like the fact that we were talking about this 2 weeks ago, and you sent me a text about people in the sportsbook industry who want to get your premium draft information.
Right.
I did not get a chance to see. You told me about one person, but I did not get a chance to observe if there were any changes made as a result. But maybe you've had some feedback on that.
Well, so I'm not going to say the person, but it was a well-known person in the betting industry, and their name came up, and it was the same name. Obviously, I'm like, is that who I think it is? And then the address is listed too, and it's like, oh yeah, he lives in Las Vegas. So I assume it's him. That was pretty crazy. It was
excuse me. By the way, when did you get that? When did you get that subscription? When were you made aware of the subscription?
I think I could tell you exactly. Let me see here. It was there we go. It was Monday at 2:27 p.m. Eastern. So
okay. So basically, what did you say? 2:22, 2:27
Eastern. So 11:27.
That's about 11:30.
Yeah,
Pacific. Yeah. So I'm wondering if at that point, now your draft thing had not yet been, the premium stuff had not yet been put out at that time. Was that correct?
No, it had been.
On Monday?
Yeah, it was out for like an hour or so, and then
at that time, or
yeah, he's subscribed.
For some reason, I thought that was going to be out, made public or to subscribers on Tuesday.
I'm pretty sure it was Monday. I'm
The
almost
reason I
confident it's Monday.
mention that is the next
Yeah.
question that follows is, did you happen when you got that notification check to see if it was available somewhere on the internet what their props were and what the prices were, and then compare that perhaps 6 hours later to see, based upon your information, changes in those odds?
Well, I remember it was Sunday night. I actually drove to New Jersey to bet it, and we're talking about the Tyson pick, which is 7-1,
Oh,
um,
okay.
and and then um, and then we
No, what I
posted
meant
it.
was
Yeah,
the specific sports book that you
yeah,
got
yeah,
the subscription from. Were you
sure.
able to check what those odds are at roughly the time that you were notified that uh, this person had subscribed?
No, just because I don't have access to the sports book, so I didn't
Oh,
bother
okay,
looking.
okay.
If it was one of the ones in my rotation, I definitely would have, but
I was
I
just
can't.
thinking you might have been able
Yeah.
to give me a call, because I don't know if I might have been. I did not really check to see if they had their draft propositions available, because if so, they
Hmm.
would have been on the app that I have. But normally, for most of the sports books here in Vegas, they usually don't put those odds up until the early in the week, like the Monday
Yeah.
of draft week. It's a
Yeah.
very short shelf life.
Yeah. DraftKings had them, FanDuel had them. Not FanDuel. DraftKings, BetMGM, and Caesars all had that prop. And like
Which
I said, I
prop?
went to Jordan Tyson to go
Oh yeah,
five
no,
to the.
I'm talking. Yeah, I'm talking just in general about all the props. That
Okay.
when did they? Do you know when DraftKings put their props up, or was it basically, because if I remember correctly, because we're talking about them, it sounded like they had those draft props up for a week or two.
They had them up for months. I think.
Months, okay.
Yeah. I think they had them even before the combine. I'm pretty sure. So,
Okay.
yeah, it's been a while, and I
And why
remember.
not? Because they have the edge overall, so they're guessing just like you're guessing.
Yeah.
Now as more information comes out, you have the combine and everything. The odds are adjusted probably a little bit better, but if you can, it's like people who bet the Super Bowl right now. Um, we get what are theoretically the better odds by betting early, but
Mhm.
so much can happen between now and even the end of September, where we've had 4 games played, and now all of a sudden the team that you thought was going to be a Super Bowl contender is 1-3 or something.
Yeah, and you're also tying up your money for a long time too. So
Yeah.
it's kind of funny that way where
Well,
you
mine
can.
was an
Yeah,
extreme example, because the
yeah,
Super
yeah.
Bowl odds for 2026, I know at the Westgate, and I think at other sports books did too, they generally come out a few days after the AFC NFC championship game. So when I'm
Yeah.
talking about playing a Super Bowl, I didn't play it quite that early, but I did last year actually. Turned out not to be a winner. I had the Ravens at like 9-1
Hmm.
right after Super Bowl, whatever the Super Bowl was, the Philadelphia
Eagles
Kansas
Chiefs.
City
Yeah.
one. But um, there you're tying up your money for basically 358 days or whatever if you do it, at that point. But as opposed to something like the draft, where I would think that perhaps those odds came out probably somewhere within a week or two after the national championship game.
Yeah, probably, but they continue to add stuff as
College
it
kids
went
had a
on.
chance to,
Yeah.
yeah. Oh no, add stuff. Yes, I'm talking about the initial
Yeah,
um,
yeah.
props that are offered by
The
the
well,
DraftKings, etc.
I know that they had who will be the number one pick like in November. So they've had that for a while, maybe even October.
I wonder who the favorite was back in November.
Well, I know John Mateer
I
was up
don't know that it would
there
have been
before he
Mendoza
got
back
hurt.
then.
No,
What's
it
that?
was John Mateer was up there when it was like October, but before he got hurt,
Oh,
at least.
okay.
Dante Moore, I think, was might have been the favorite. I think I'm not totally sure, but
Now I'm trying to think if he
um,
was he the number one quarterback at that time,
it might have been, yeah.
or was Arch Manning included perhaps?
I think Arch Manning was probably in there, but remember he had a rough first game, so I
Yeah.
wonder if
Then he
he
came on,
was.
and as
Yeah,
the odds went, and then Nussmeier of LSU.
yeah. I mean, he was
Until he
hurt
had some,
the whole time.
he played himself. He had injuries and all that. But I'm talking now about, because I think that Nussmeier and Manning. I don't know about Dante Moore, but I think Nussmeier and Manning were amongst the favorites for the Heisman back in early September.
Yeah, I think so too. I think I had Arch Manning number one in my mock draft for a while.
Okay.
Even after some of his slow starts, but at the same time, I was like, I don't think he comes out or this early, you
No,
know.
that was always a thought since he was a
Yeah,
freshman
right,
that he
right.
was going to play the full 4 years.
Yeah, yeah. I think he will. So, we'll see. I mean, people still expect him to come out this year, and we'll see about that. I don't
Yeah.
even know. Yeah, it could still be Dante Moore, and I think you can actually bet who's going to be the number
By
one
the way,
pick in the draft now.
especially with the NIL and what Arch Manning is going to be making. I don't know what it is yet this year if it's been
Mhm.
determined. There's and by that's another good thing about the NIL, because those of us who have loved college football for years and years and years, we enjoy the fact seeing these kids playing 4 years or certainly 3 years at most, or at the very least 3 years. Um, Now, of course, the transfer portal undoes all that, because we
Right.
like to see him playing with the same team for the 4 years. And I mean, yeah, of course, it helps obviously with handicapping and betting, but nonetheless, it's just for the pure enjoyment of the sport. You like to have continuity as best you can. So there's
Yeah,
a trade
it's
off, because
yeah.
the NIL is now more of a or less of a deterrent to leave early. Let me put it that way.
It's a little crazy. It's hard to follow. Like
Yeah.
even for me, like I'm like in my mock draft, I have the wrong school. Someone point out, "Hey, you're an idiot.
Yeah.
This guy transferred." I'm like, "Well, there's like a
Oh, not
million
only
guys
that,
transferring."
not only that,
You know,
that was 2 schools ago, because he
right?
transferred from Cal to Alabama, and then before the same season, he transferred from Alabama to Georgia.
Yeah, yeah. It's so hard to
NCAA, by the
follow.
way, needs to do something about that. They have to limit you to one. Uh, I would say one, and at the very most, no more than 2 transfers during a 6 year season, during a 6 year period.
I think then aren't they going to change that? I thought Trump was even said something. He was going to do something about that.
Well, I
Where
think he wanted some sort of changes, but I don't know
yeah,
if he got specific. But think of something that's reasonable. I mean, remember, these are supposed to be student athletes. They're for an education and perhaps playing football, where a very small percentage of them will actually make a living out of
right,
their football major. Okay,
yeah,
so and I say it every few weeks. At 5 years, 10 years from now, it'll be the Ohio State football team limited or Inc.
yes,
And you'll
I
hire players, and they
yeah.
won't have to take classes, which means they'll be even closer to NFL project or products, NFL ready by the time their eligibility is done.
Well, let's face it. I mean, most of these guys take classes that are complete jokes anyway. Like
Yeah.
I've mentioned many times on the show, Tom Bahali, who was a super nice guy. I
Yeah.
sat next to him in my history of journalism class, and the whole time he was just stacking plastic bottles of water on top of each other, making pyramids.
He was
But
what? Stacking?
he was stacking bottles of small little bottles of plastic water,
Oh, the
not the
little
big ones.
tiny plastic
Yeah,
bottle. Okay.
yeah, yeah. He would make pyramids
Sort
on
of.
the
Yeah,
desk.
I was going to say sort of like
Yeah,
uh, a vertical set of 10 bowling pins.
yeah, yeah,
Four, three,
right.
two, one.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. No, he would just make a pyramid, and he would bring in this girl who would take notes for him the entire time. I don't know
Oh,
what he did with
nice.
these notes, but that's what he did in the entire
Turn
class.
them over and use them for memo paper.
Yeah, right. So
If she
yeah,
had her crayons with her.
right. Right. So
I love some of the courses they used to take, like fun with single digit numbers.
yeah, they get like D's. Like, oh man, it's a tough
Yeah.
test. And I don't know if you ever
And by
watched.
the way, I joke about
Yeah,
it, but they really should, in a certain sense, consider doing something. Because, if you're an athlete and you're getting a scholarship and you're supposedly going to classes, you're taking away a position in a class from someone who really wants to go there and, become an engineer or something. So, maybe there will be some sort of way that you can accommodate both students and athletes, and they don't have to necessarily be the same.
yeah, I
Although,
don't know.
because keep in mind, 95% of all the athletes, that's probably a conservative number, are not going to be going and playing professional football
Oh yeah, of
or
course.
basketball.
Right, but a lot of the better ones are not taking these serious classes, not taking engineering,
No.
or at least for the most part.
Well, they
Um,
are. They are if railroad runs in their family.
yeah, well, I mean, Andrew Luck was an architecture major, so
Yes. Yeah.
there are exceptions,
Oh,
but
yeah. There always are. There
but
are a
I
lot.
was
There are a lot of kids who are in college, and yeah, they're on the foot It's not
there any?
necessarily, you know, the
Yeah.
Dukes or the Northwesterns or whatever. There are,
Right.
you know, it could easily be a team like a LaSalle. Well, they have a no, they don't even have a club football program, I think. But let's say a Villanova or a Northern Illinois or whatever, where they're there for
Mhm.
the education and they also play football and you know maybe they get fortunate to get drafted or something, but they're there mainly for the education.
Yeah, it does happen sometimes. At Penn State, I was in a women's studies class. It was supposedly an easy A. That's why I took it. I needed one of those sort of classes for journalism,
No,
and like half the Penn State football team was in that class. Like it was so.
I
That's
took
just
I took urban geography. We
nice.
learned how to build city parks around the tenements.
Wow. Okay. I took a
And by the way, this
geography.
was at
Yeah.
Penn, so it's not like
It's not Penn State.
no,
I took a geography class, right? And
yeah,
in the final, this teacher, she just gave us a blank map and said fill in as many countries, oceans, seas,
states,
rivers, whatever. Yeah, as
yeah.
many as you can, and the higher number, the better grade you have. But it was
Yeah.
actually pretty cool. And then I think a year or two later, I had a history class, just a broad history class. I come in, it's the same professor. I'm like, oh, this is interesting.
So now you
And
know what the final was going to be.
well, but it was history instead of geography, right?
Oh,
So I, show up to a couple class and she's just reading from the book the entire time. I'm like, this is pointless.
how
I
many
was like,
football players were in that class?
actually, not any.
No.
So yeah, I guess they're not interested in history. So anyway, I read. I'm like, why go to class? She reads out of the book. I'm just gonna read the book. So I go to the final, and she's like, all right, you guys, this is gonna be a tough final, guys. And I'm like, okay. And I've read the book, so I'm thinking I'm all right. So she hands out these papers, and I'm staring at it. It's a map of the world. I'm like, she's like. She says, fill in as many countries, oceans, rivers.
Oh yeah, there you go. That's what I was referring to
thing.
before when you said it was the same teacher.
Yeah, it's the same. I was like, I thought this was history class. Why are we getting a geography test?
Now, did you do
for
better
final?
the second time you had that final?
I did really well the first time because I'm good with memory and stuff.
But
And
how did you do the second time compared to the first time?
I got A's both times.
Oh,
So I don't know. I don't know why we had the same final, but
now see
it was easy.
if she wanted to make it easy on herself.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I guess they don't use numbers. They use what A, B, C, D, E, like they do in elementary and high school. Is
Yeah.
that she put in 100 different things, and as many if you got 75 out of the 100, that was your grade. 75, whatever that correlated to a C minus. Or
You see, yeah.
yeah.
So, yeah. I mean, it was weird, but yeah,
How could you spell the names of some of the countries?
kind of had to get. I don't think she really took it too seriously. The spelling of it, but I don't know. It was a good time. But anyway, like my point is, there's so many easy classes that these athletes take, and so
Yeah. I mean, remember with the Soviet Union breaking up, you had a lot of different,
No.
well, not Afghanistan or Pakistan, but
Estonia,
Kazakhstan,
Latvia, Lithuania, yeah,
right,
yeah,
Uncle Stan,
yeah.
the whole bunch of them.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, we that was those little countries are tough. So anyway, I figure we can get into talking about the draft.
All right.
And so yeah, I asked for your overarching thoughts, and yeah, we talked about the betting aspect of it. Did you make any bets for the draft before we get into the picks?
Well, I actually had a friend bet for me, and it was that Matthew Stafford would go in the first round. Not Matthew Stafford.
Ty Simpson.
Yeah, that who was it? Who they picked? The quarterback.
The Rams picked
Yeah.
Ty Simpson. Yeah.
What's that?
Tom says Ty Simpson. The Rams.
Yeah,
picked
Ty Simpson from Alabama would go in the first round because I had seen a couple of projections from a couple of months ago that had him going to the Rams.
Mm-hmm. Charlie had that.
Yeah.
So.
And a lot of people were surprised. And by the way, you heard about that in the press conference or whatever, the interview, that McVay didn't look all that excited and everything.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then we find out that it had like several secret meetings before the draft between Simpson and McVay, and everything was all hush hush.
Yeah, I mean, during the introductory press conference, he said, "Oh, he's going to compete with Stetson Bennett for the third quarterback," which I thought was funny. But I might as well lead off with that. I mean, the Rams taking.
I thought it was a good pick.
You did, okay.
I did because if you're a Super Bowl contender, and they've been a Super Bowl contender for the last several years, the time you want to get a quarterback is when you don't need one.
Okay.
You know, they can fill in some of their other needs with other draft picks or free agents, etc. You know, especially as guys they may have had their eyes on get released over the summer, on cut down dates.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought that was a good pick. I mean, you know, with the McDuffie acquisition, that was kind of like a nice draft choice, that equivalent to a first round draft choice. So I liked what the Rams did. They and McVay likes him, you know. Although of course now the cynical folks are saying, yeah, once Stafford retires, McVay is going to leave and go elsewhere.
Right. Yeah, but, I mean, sure, that could happen.
That's from people who thought it was a lousy pick. It sounds like you might not have thought it was a good pick.
I thought it was a truly awful pick, like one of the worst picks I've ever seen. Yeah, he Les Snead has that Millen big kill-boss. Yeah, so for me, it's like when you're the Rams are the favorites to win the Super Bowl right now. They're 8-1 on DraftKings. Right. Like the next favorite is 9.5 to 1 Seattle. And so if you look at the top teams, you have the Rams, Seahawks. You have the Bills are there, Patriots, Eagles, etc. The Rams had
Buffalo. You said
the Rams had the best draft asset of all those teams, and so at 13, like you're probably going to get a good player who can contribute for you this year. It's not like 29. If they took Simpson at 29, I think that would have been fine. But at 13, you can get a really good player who can help you this year. That I think would have just given the Rams a big leg up.
Well, that assumes that the player will be able. I mean, how many high draft choices we have seen over the years have, let's say a top 15 draft choice has not done well in his rookie year or even his rookie and second year. With Simpson, Simpson, you're making a pick of a quality player, at least in the minds of those who like him, that you're preparing yourself to extend your Super Bowl run after Stafford retires.
Well, I mean, by the same token, you're assuming Simpson's going to be good also, which that's a different thing. I mean, look, I will take Sean McVay's judgment over 99% of the people who follow football. Yeah, I know, but a lot of
let me rephrase it. I'll take McVay and his staff, his personnel, the people who are part of their brain trust or whatever, over most of the people, because they obviously saw something, and that's their business as far as quarterbacks and being able to, Plus, remember he played in a conference where a lot of the defensive players that he faced, he'll be facing again in the pros, in the SEC.
Yeah, which in the big games, he didn't do too well, and he only had 15 stars. I mean, there are a few teams that needed quarterbacks who could have taken him, and they just passed on him. And it's not like, the Rams got him 29. These teams passed him in the top 10. Like 13 is not too far from where these teams could have drafted him.
How about this other thought that maybe the Rams drafted him with the potential of trading him at some point over the summer?
They would just trade Simpson, really?
For one or two quality guys who could help them this season.
I mean, if they do that, I think that would be nice. I don't know if they will, but
had the Rams not had a very good track record of personnel acquisition over the last few years, I might agree. But the Rams have done extremely well in a lot of their personnel moves since McVay and the others came in.
Yeah, have they drafted good quarterbacks? I mean, Stetson Bennett's the one that comes to mind, and he
was there as a backup.
Yeah. I mean, he hasn't had a chance. There's nothing to prove there. I don't know. I mean, we don't know the track record of drafting quarterbacks. I mean, they traded for Stafford.
No, I'm just talking about drafting players overall, regardless of position.
Yeah.
Drafting or signing.
Sure. I mean, they have good track record with certain positions for sure.
Yeah.
Quarterback we just don't know, so That is a mystery. I was not a Simpson fan. The way he played in the playoffs is terrible. Only 15 starts. He has some bad
That's
misses.
probably the one negative, other than the fact that drafting him for future use, he's going to get a very good ability to develop and learn in that backup role. And I would imagine that he'll see some time this year when the Rams are up 44-10 in the third quarter, or down 44-10 in the third quarter. Get him there. The expectation is that there's a good chance Mendoza will not start for the Raiders. Yeah. Kubiak says as much. He doesn't like. He's not in favor of starting rookie quarterbacks, but they've got a good backup in Kirk Cousins. And at some point, let's say the Raiders are 3-7 after 10 games. Maybe at that point, Mendoza starts getting some of the starts that he would, he will have learned, and he'll probably get some playing time. I would think he might get some playing time in games that are not on the line in the final 10 minutes of the fourth quarter.
You think it'll be that long until he plays, like double-digit weeks?
I'm just saying that. Well, let me put it this way. Suppose the Raiders are 7-3 after 10 weeks. Would you make a change?
Oh, yeah, of course not. Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. 3-7 gives teams a legitimate reason to make a switch at quarterback if the quarterback that they're looking to go to is the future of the franchise.
Yeah, it would be the formula that the Eagles followed with McNabb, where they started Doug Peterson when they drafted McNabb number 2, and then halfway through the season they went to McNabb, and then
what was the Eagles' record at that time?
It was probably like 3-7.
So they were basically out of contention.
Yeah,
and that was a 16-game schedule.
Right, yeah. And Doug Peterson's not the caliber quarterback that Kirk Cousins was. So no. Although Cousins has regressed recently, so look.
I mean, Peterson was a competent backup.
Yeah, he was one of those guys who knew the system, is a smart guy. He was just fine. Whereas Cousins, he's not too far removed from being a good starter. Yeah. A couple of years ago in Minnesota, he had a really good year until he got injured. So yeah, it's a shame what happened there, but still, with this pick, it's kind of, I just don't like it because it's like 1 foot in, 1 foot out. Like they were all in, and now they're like halfway in, halfway out, and you could argue that it worked for the Packers with Jordan Love, where they had Aaron Rodgers, but I would argue that if instead of Jordan Love, they could have drafted. They had no other receivers except for Devontae Adams that year. They could have drafted T. Higgins, or they could have drafted Michael Pittman Jr. or Brandon Ayuk, and someone like that could have helped them get over the top of the Buccaneers in the NFC Championship, which was a very close game. It went down to the wire. Maybe a second receiver gets them over the top, and they win that game. So they perhaps cost themselves the Super Bowl in favor of good quarterbacking in the future. But you know what? I mean, Jordan Love hasn't been that great. He's been fine.
He's been fine, but again, this is a team that you're not going to. It's always easy to. You're not second guessing. You're first guessing here, which is fine. Yeah. But it's always easy to say, well, what if we had done that or whatever? The point is that, for example, for the Rams were in position to make the Super Bowl this year, and the last few years.
Yeah.
So in other words, their needs. They don't really have much in the way of needs that would help them, because it still comes down to, are you going to be in position with 1 or 2 plays to win a game that gets you in the Super Bowl?
I just think that, what we saw with Seattle this year with Gray Zabel, what he did for them. Yeah. Vega Ioane could have done the same thing for the Rams, just to provide like a monster.
May have, we don't know.
Oh yeah, sure. We don't know.
It still comes down in making enough plays to win enough games to be in position to make a run in the playoffs, and then it comes down to one good team against another good team, and one team makes the plays, and it's hard to say, well, if they had this player, they might have made a run.
Yeah, look, we
they
don't
might
know.
Have won the game rather.
Yeah, you're right. Look, we don't know if that rookie would pan out. But like I said, we don't know if Simpson will pan out. But I think there's a better chance Ioane pans out than Simpson. I think Ioane is a much better prospect, the best guard prospect in this class. Whereas Simpson's
once again, it depends on the team you go to.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
remember, what we talk about, well, these, he's the best player there. These are all opinions. Now, they're
Mhm.
educated opinions, but does the name Tony Mandarich strike a chord, or
I
Jamarcus
wrote
Russell?
about them. I
What's
wrote
that?
about them in my
There
book.
you go. So, I mean, you could be a number one draft choice and be a bust.
Yeah.
I
Yep.
mean, it's not science, it's opinion, and they're generally good opinions. But then again, and I'll still go back. Steve Young, was a horrible quarterback. Well, he had a great career with the LA Express and the old USFL. Horrible quarterback at Tampa Bay. Why? Because Tampa Bay was a lousy organization.
Yeah.
Well, he ends up in San Francisco, goes to the Hall of Fame. Same guy. Look at Sam Darnold. Sam
Yep.
Darnold. Okay, a bust the first few years of his career. He goes to Carolina, does okay. Goes to San Francisco as a backup, does okay. Goes to Minnesota, gets him in the playoffs, with a great season. Then he goes to a different team the year later. Seattle has a similar season, and they win a Super Bowl. So
Hmm.
sometimes, I'd say probably more often than not, it's the situation the team that you go to, and what the overall quality of the organization is.
Yeah.
And
You
in
don't
fact,
even.
I always tell people,
Yeah.
you tell me two teams, which team has a better chance of winning a Super Bowl in a given year, all things being equal, I say I'd go with the team with the better organizational strength.
Yeah, you don't even have to switch teams. I mean, we had Alex Smith. First 5 years of San Francisco was awful, and
Yep.
then Jim Harbaugh comes in, and suddenly Alex Smith is a good quarterback.
There you go.
The new system. So
That's a great example, because Harbaugh's been an outstanding coach wherever he's been.
yeah, it really, you're totally right. I just think that I think the odds that Awane's is going to be good this year are more likely than not that he will be, but it is an odds thing, like I don't know what the percentages are, but yeah, there's a percentage he's a bust, but I think a higher percentage that he's
where's he with?
He went to the next pick, which was the Ravens.
Okay.
So
yeah.
well, that's a good team, so he'll have a chance.
Oh yeah, we don't know how. I mean, we don't know about the Ravens with the new coach after 18 years.
That's fair.
That's fair. And it's a little. Yeah. I still think they're still a playoff caliber team. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But how's everything going to fit in a new system? And at the same time, coaching change sometimes is good, because how many pregame speeches, how many different pregame speeches can John Harbaugh have had in 18 years?
Yeah,
it's not like it's 130. Yeah. Maybe it's 13, and
mm-hmm.
The players get tired of hearing of it and all, and it just wears off. And maybe the same thing in Pittsburgh. Although I don't necessarily think that it's going to be that dramatic, but nonetheless, you still change is sometimes the right approach.
Yeah, I think we saw that with Tampa when Tony Dungy's a great coach. He just couldn't get them over the top, and then John Gruden
I'll give you a perfect example of as far as and another thing I'm concerned about, rookie coaches. Look at the New York Giants. They've had success when they have hired coaches, for the most part, who had been head coaches elsewhere. And the best example is a guy like Tom Coughlin.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, had proven success elsewhere, came in and got him a couple of Super Bowl wins.
Yeah.
And then they get a number of guys, some of whom had limited exception. I think Pat Shermer was with the Browns or something, so I don't know if that really counts as experience. Although you could go back and say Bill Belichick had experience with the Browns, and then in his second job,
well, he got them to the playoffs. He got them to the play. He got the Browns
Cleveland.
to the playoffs.
Which
was
like
an
indication of something right there. But
right.
now the Giants really have had a lot of first-time coaches. And now finally they've got someone in Harbaugh. That's not saying he's going to get him to the Super Bowl or that quickly. But again, go back to Jim Harbaugh. What do you have? His first year got him to the NFC Championship game, and the second year got him to the Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah.
With a team that hadn't been all that great. What did he took over for? What is it? What was it? Tomosu?
No, Tom Sula was after him. I think it was.
Was he after Harbaugh?
He was after.
Who did he take over? Singletary?
Singletary, yeah. Singletary.
And I think they were just pretty average teams back then under Singletary.
I think Singletary had one good year, and then they regressed.
So Harbaugh took over a team that had been struggling. It took him 1 year to get to the It took him his first season to get him championship game, the conference championship, and then a year later in the Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, it turned the team around.
So if you are a fan, let's say, and I don't know if they're going to make the same case with the Steelers, because McCarthy comes in, he's had a track record, but he's not exactly taking over from a bad coach.
Yeah.
Okay.
I
Now,
would
when you
say
go
that's a
to
downgrade.
the situation with the Giants and Harbaugh, he's taking over a team that's had a lot of, well, a lack of coaching success other than Daboll in his first season.
Yeah, I'm curious how that's going to unfold with the Giants. I was not very thrilled with their draft class. The Giants. I don't know what you thought of it. I
Oh,
mean, you're
I liked what they did. They just a number of needs like they said they were going to. I wasn't necessarily. Well, no, if Reese was available, I think they had to take him.
the thing is, what bothers me about a couple things bothers me about the Reese pick. The first one is that he doesn't have a natural position. Like he doesn't know how to rush the passer yet. Like he has to be taught that, and so they're going to use him. I would assume at off-ball linebacker because they have so many edge rushers.
Yeah.
And to take an off-ball linebacker at 5 in itself is a little too rich. But you can argue this draft.
I've always felt you can never have too many linebackers.
Okay, so
such an important position because you can be counted on to do two different things: rush, drop back.
Right. Okay. So
you have good instincts.
So in this draft class, you could I think you can get by that just because there's
if that's the case, then why was Arville considered to be the number 2 pick for a long time? Turned out not that way.
Yeah.
Although the bettors regretted that. But if that's a major concern, especially when you are going to a team, whether it have been the Jets or the Titans or the Jets or the Giants, you're going to a team that has a lot of needs.
So
and you're not expected to be a contender, although the Giants are closer to being a contending team than are the Jets.
So the Jets, you would assume that they would use him as an edge rusher. First of all, so edge rusher more important than off-ball linebacker. And second, the potential was there. Like it's a sky-high potential with Reese. Like, but they ended up taking Bailey anyway, which I thought was the better pick. I actually wrote up both.
Now, who's
grades.
The one that's the younger? Who's the one that's younger? Between the two of them.
I didn't think they were both particularly old.
But I mean, one I thought was 2 years younger or something.
David Bailey's 22.
And Reese.
Arvell Reese is 20, but he's gonna be 21. They're both in August, so 2 years.
Exactly. Yeah, and I think that was one of the reasons why Reese was so highly thought of. One of the things that was mentioned, he's 2 years younger. So there's a couple of extra years of development to get in there before he has to really, there's more of an upside for him.
Oh yeah, I mean the upside's through the roof for sure, but which is why he's drafted in top 5. But so my main issue for the Giants is they take an off-ball linebacker at 5, and he's not even the best off-ball linebacker. That would be Sonny Styles.
No, but the age that he has, a 20-year-old or a 21-year-old at the start of the season, and again, maybe the Giants can make the playoffs this year. I don't know because it's going to, I think the 2 best divisions in football this year. I guess you still have to throw the NFC North in there, but I think it's going to be the NFC East and the AFC West.
Sonny Styles is only 21, so he's only 1 year older. So I don't think that's much of a factor.
I personally preferred Sonny Styles. I would have, the Giants would have taken him.
Sure. Yeah. So if you take off-ball linebacker, why isn't it Sonny Styles? First of all, second, with the 10th pick, so with number 5, they take a player with no.
They could have taken Caleb Downs with number 10.
Sure. At number 5, they take a player with no set position, right? At number 10, they take
with
a player
Sep
with no sets position. So like
set position, okay.
Right. He's either a linebacker, edge rusher. You don't know. He's like an athlete recruiting into college. Like, and then number 10, you take a player who's not going to play his natural position. Francis Mount is at tackle. They're going to use him at guard, and once again, they take a guard who's not the best guard in this class. That was Awane.
Oh, was he the best guard available at the time?
No, Awane's the best guard in this class. He was available at 10. So the Giants took the first off-ball linebacker who was not the best off-ball linebacker, and they take the first guard who's not the best guard. So it's like they.
How much of a difference is it between who they took and who you consider the best? I don't. A great difference.
Oh, I think there's a huge difference at guard with Mount. I don't think Mount is going to be a good guard. I've people I respect in scouts, like they graded Mount as a first round tackle, but they said if he was a guard, he'd be 3rd or 4th round pick. just so that he
Okay.
doesn't really, and also he has assistants back that he has to get removed, and he might miss half the season.
Yeah.
So there's that as well. Which so I don't really like this draft at all. I think that they could have done better. Like if they took Styles and Awane, I think that would have been better. But it's I think they whiffed here. I'm really disappointed because I wanted.
Well,
to
as I say, we'll check back in 2030.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
We can only speculate, but that's part of it. If we're not speculating, then what's the point? So yeah, we might as well not do a show if we're not going to speculate.
Yeah. No, I mean, look, it's all about opinions, and you're going to be right on some or wrong on some, and some you'll be totally accurate on. Yeah, 100% accurate on.
Yeah, I mean, you want it. Yeah, just as long as you're more right than not. I think that's the important thing. So we're going to get to the other New York team, which is your team, but we had a question about them. What are the odds that the Jets finishes the worst team in the NFL? Might hammer that one. I don't know what those odds are. I don't know if that's even available right now. But let's forget odds. Do you think the Jets? What's like the probability you think that the Jets finish as the worst team in the NFL in comparison to the other teams?
I would say they help themselves. They've got good quarterback situation now, unlike last year. Your buddy,
my girl Mina.
No. Your quarterback. Your Jets quarterback.
Mina, Mina's quarterback. Gino. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. No. The other one, the one that who was the one who played last year? Brady.
Brady Cook.
Brady Cook. Yeah.
Yeah.
That he will be the Tommy DeVito of the Jets this year. I don't know, but no, I think the Jets improved themselves. They had some really good players on that team, and I think they addressed some needs. I would think that I don't know what the odds are, but I would not bet the Jets to be the worst team in the league.
Well, okay. Well, what do you think the odds?
Assuming you're talking as measured by win-loss record.
Yeah. Right. So what do you think the odds should be? And if the Jets
I have no idea.
Let me phrase it this way: if the Jets shouldn't be the favorite, who do you think should be the favorite to have the worst record?
Maybe Arizona.
Okay, I actually had some people email me about the Arizona pick, and a couple Cardinals fans, they were really defending it. They like, oh, we're not going to be that bad this year. Who's
the quarterback?
Jacoby Brissett or Carson Beck or Gardner Minshew.
Right, and I think
Aaron Rodgers
or Aaron
Rodgers. Yeah.
Well, that would make a big difference, but I would be surprised if he doesn't end up back in Pittsburgh.
I would too. I saw a report today that he was maybe considering Arizona or something. I don't know. There's a lot of weapens there. Like,
well, if I know Aaron Rodgers, and somebody asks him, "Are you considering Tennessee? Are you considering Philadelphia?" He'd say, "Yeah,
that's true.
I'm considering it. I have no intention, but I'm considering it. Why not?
Yeah. If I'm Rodgers, I'd rather go to Arizona. First of all, nicer weather. But second, you have so many more weapons than they do in Pittsburgh. I know the Steelers just added Pittman, but Arizona has, Harrison could develop. They have Michael Wilson, who's great last year, McBride, Jeremiah Love.
What about the defense?
Well, the defense, we talked about how bad the defense was last year, but they suffered a lot of injuries throughout the year. And so if you look at how their defense performed in the first half of the season, it wasn't that bad. So
was it better than any of the other three teams in the division?
No.
Okay.
And to be fair, both divisions are very difficult. So, although you do have the Browns in the AFC North, but still,
but the Browns are the Arizona of the AFC North.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Well, if the Cardinals get Rodgers, then they're not anymore, right? But, so, yeah.
But again, Rodgers would have to learn a whole new system.
Yeah, it's true.
As opposed to McCarthy's system in Pittsburgh, which he's obviously very familiar with. But
I do wonder if he put in new stuff. It's been almost a decade since he's played for him.
So. Oh yeah, but I'm still that. Plus, I think McCarthy trusts Aaron Rodgers to do what he decides to do once he gets the ball.
Yeah, it makes sense. So
but no, I think Arizona could be the worst team in the league. I
okay.
mean, how comfortable do you feel with Brissett for 17 games?
I mean, it's not the worst. It's not great though. Better than Brady Cook.
I mean, now the Jets have what? Who they? What's it? Geno Smith and Russell Wilson.
Yeah,
That's
girl,
probably the owner saying, "Hey, Wilson was with Seattle. They won a Super Bowl. Okay.
Yeah.
Geno was with Seattle. They won a Super Bowl. Okay, or whatever.
Yeah.
No, there's no Seattle won a Super Bowl. That that's their solution.
Yeah, they're going to sign Marshawn Lynch next. Bring
Yeah.
Richard Sherman, bring back the whole gang. That'd be
Yeah.
great.
That would be wonderful because you know what? They wouldn't have to slow the play down for slow motion.
Yeah, no. Well, look, if they're trying to tank, that's the best way to do it. Just sign a bunch of 40-year-olds and see what they do. And it would, I think it would sell tickets for the first few games. People like, oh, I remember those guys. This should be fun. And then they lose 56-0, and then no one shows up again. But
I think the Jets have improved themselves. Who knows about Garrett Wilson? They got another nice receiver for him.
Mm-hmm.
I like their tight end. I like what I said, Brees Hall, and the offensive line will be better this year.
Mm-hmm.
So I think, and we don't know about Miami, but I could see the Jets challenging Miami for third best in the AFC East.
Yeah.
And the other thing is, by the way, with Geno Smith and Russell Wilson, should there be an injury to Geno, there's not that much of a drop off as far as your backup goes. I don't know. Are there? Off the top of your head, can you think of a better 1-2 combination at quarterback in terms of the drop off from the starter to the number 2?
Jeez. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's pretty rough to make the comparison.
Patrick Mahomes to Justin Fields.
Yeah, yeah.
No, because with Wilson and Geno, they are very accomplished and capable quarterbacks, but neither of them. I don't know if you could say that about Wilson, perhaps, but I don't think either of them were ever in what would be considered the elite class at the height of their playing careers.
I thought Wilson was elite for a little bit. The Geno obviously was not,
yeah. But and of course Geno already knows what it's like to play in New York.
Right. So,
I would think that the Jets would not have the worst record in the league. I mean, Arizona comes to mind. Let me think. Who else?
Well, what about Tennessee? As Drew's pointing out, the Vrabel is not in Tennessee, but used to be.
Well, I'm thinking that Tennessee has an upside, but who they take? Do they take Tate with the first pick?
Pick? Carnell Tate number 4. Yeah.
As opposed to
Arvo Reese or Jordan Tyson.
Yeah, I was going to say if I'm Tennessee, I would have gone defense. Keep it in the games while Cam Ward continues developing.
I think if you love the receivers, I think you take a receiver, but Carnell Tate's not a number 1, so I think you can argue Reese.
And by the way, it was a very rich draft for quality, not outstanding, but quality wide receivers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, it was a bunch of receivers won in the first round. So and then
no, but I mean even on Friday and Saturday.
Right. Yeah. Even a bunch early day too. Yeah. That we saw a bunch of receivers go. So, for me, if you're Tennessee, I'm thinking it this way: like you can get a Denzel Boston in round 2, but you're not getting an Arvo Reese in round 2. So
exactly.
That's how I would have gone, and I'm not just saying that because that cost us potential to win $10,000.
Now, but where was Tate rated as a receiver? No, I'm sorry. Where was Tate rated as far as a first-round draft pick?
I mean, he was in this class. He was top 10 in an ordinary class.
No. Top 10 of everybody, or top 10 of receivers?
Depends on who you ask. Like Tate is, he's considered the safer. He's like a number 2 possession receiver. whereas Jordan Tyson is rated as a number one, more explosive guy.
Yeah.
The problem with Tyson is that he has a history of hamstring issues,
Yeah.
and he has a knee issue in his past, injury in his past.
Yeah.
But it feels like he's over that, but still.
Yeah, but I'm thinking in terms
Yeah.
of Tate as being, was he more closer to a 3 than a 13?
I think. I mean, in this class, in this class,
Yeah, in this year's draft. Yeah, overall.
I mean, I had him 7. I've had him
Okay.
7 or 8.
So that's like right in the
this
middle
season.
there.
Yeah, yeah.
Because if let me phrase the question this way, because Reese was available. Okay. Who has the potential to be more of an impact player either this year or going forward between Reese and Tate?
I mean, it depends on how they use Reese. I think that
Assuming they're both used to their strengths.
I think you could say. I think there's this year. I think Tate, but as you move forward, I think Reese's potential is so high that I think he would be the guy. But the thing is, you've seen a lot of hybrid linebackers be drafted in the top 10, and all of them have failed, at least with their first team. You know, like Isaiah Simmons, for example, he was considered such a great prospect, and he was a complete failure. There's Deion Jordan, the 3rd overall pick. He was a failure. The way that Hassan Reddick. So Hassan Reddick became a great player, but with Arizona, he was awful. And so it's just a long history. And Arizona 3. This is a team that we had inside info on, and we could talk about them right now. Arizona, their number 2 player was Bailey after Love, and right. Reese was not considered because they were so scared that they're going to draft another of these hybrid linebackers who would fail. They just had enough, and they're like,
well, then why don't you get rid of the scout who caused all that consternation? Seriously, I mean, you don't pick because a previous guy turned out to be a bust. That's not the problem. The guy who poorly evaluated him, or perhaps whoever the players would be that you're thinking of, or that they were just at the wrong team and they went on to have a nice career elsewhere, and so the pick was justified, just not for that team, just not for the Cardinals.
That's what I was saying with having no set position. You know, like if guys half an edge rusher, half a linebacker, but he's not a really either one. It's like how maybe he's going to fail at both, and that's what Arizona.
Or maybe he could succeed at both.
That's possible, but Arizona has drafted nothing but busts. It's not just one guy. No. They've done this 3 times. David Collins is another one. Like they've taken 3 guys.
No, and that's why I'm saying the problem is not with the player, it's as much as it is with the guy who's drafting the player that high.
Well, it's different GMs.
The coach who's recommending it,
It's different GMs, different coaches. Yeah. Like they've done this 3 times in 3 different regimes, and they've all failed. So they're just sick of it. And Jeremiah Love, I mentioned this yesterday.
No, excuse me. By the way, have they had? Are there also instances that you can think of, because you follow us a heck of a lot more closely than I do? Has Arizona had some success in, let's say, the last 5 years as far as their draft classes?
They've had. They've definitely had some good picks. They've had Trey McBride comes to mind.
Yeah.
He was a great pick.
I don't know how closely you studied that you can just recall it, but if you were to grade Arizona's draft choices, say over the last 4 seasons before this year, what kind of grade would you give them overall?
So it's funny, like whenever they don't take a hybrid linebacker, they've drafted pretty well, except for Marvin Harrison Jr. Who, the jury's still out on him right now. It's only been 2 years. Maybe
he has not reached the level as quickly as people expected him to reach that level.
And Neighbors has been better, even though he got hurt. But yeah, I'm looking at players like Paris Johnson. They drafted him in the first round. He's been fantastic for them. I mentioned Trey McBride. Michael Wilson's the 3rd round pick for them. He was great last year at the end.
It sounds like the Cardinals need to make a coaching a scout change at the linebacker position.
Yeah, I guess. But again, it's been different regimes, so it's like I guess it's a philosophy at this point.
No, I don't know if it may be different regimes, but it's the same scout, or maybe it's been a situation that the general manager has overruled the scout.
Well, I can tell you this much. Who do you think made this pick? The Jeremiah Love pick?
The owner.
The owner made it. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was the
Yeah.
owner. The owner decided it.
I did that on a show earlier this week. I mean, I have no problem with the pick because it's a good player, but I've always felt that you should develop your offensive line before you get your franchise quarterback
Yep.
or your franchise running back. Not so much with wide receivers, but certainly because I mean, and we talked about it all last year about Genti with the Raiders with their horrible offensive line. Okay, you wonder how much. And then this is a situation going forward because we won't know about Genti until this year how he responds. But you wonder how many of these running backs, when you play behind offensive lines that currently, get tackled in the backfield so often, do they start losing confidence?
Yeah, it's bad. I mean,
yeah. So, but if you have an offensive line in place, the chances are that they're not going to be in a situation where first contact is 2 yards behind the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, and you have Genti getting hit so much. I mean, this is a wasted year on a short career. I mean, running backs have shortened careers.
No, and that's what I'm saying. What's his confidence? Well, let's see, because I think the Raiders did a good job this year as far as addressing a lot of issues. They had a number of draft picks.
Yeah,
Genti should have more opportunities this year.
They did, except they didn't really draft a receiver, and they don't have receivers except, as Drew said, Trey Tucker, which I agree. I think Trey Tucker could be a good sleeper. I just assumed they would draft 2 receivers, and they didn't really draft any. So, there'll
be a lot of receivers who don't make rosters or who will be cut during the training camps. So I would think they will address that issue, as every team will. You know, gee, we didn't get blah 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 positions as much as we wanted to, but there's still going to be a lot of players available. And look, again, you go back to guys like Curtis Martin or Tom Brady, these guys who are late round, Brock Purdy, guys who are late round draft picks and end up making the Hall of Fame.
Yeah,
or undrafted players, Kurt Warner.
Yep.
So, if you're able to be fortunate enough to identify those guys and you get them, and obviously at this point, if they were undrafted, they wouldn't carry huge contracts, at least for the first several years. There's always that out there. So I think wide receiver is one of those positions where you know what you're looking for. You don't have to teach a heck of a lot as you do, for example, when you're drafting defensive players and they have to recognize offensive schemes and things like that and make quick decisions. Receiver just has to basically, they have to recognize a little bit, but they've got to basically run their routes and catch the football.
Good movie, by the way, the Kurt Warner movie. Just watched it recently.
Well, what was that called? American Hero or something, or
some hero. I forget. That was a really good movie. Anyway. Arizona kept Scat Pack alive. Yeah, I was so happy because I drafted Scatabo so many times in fantasy already. So I was hoping that the Giants wouldn't get love. And
I would not have liked that pick because they said they were going for a drag. Well, we kind of figured. See, I was not in favor of the Giants, and I know you might have wanted him to take that running back, the receiver rather, the Arizona State receiver with that first pick. But I like the fact that they did go defense, but. Who did they get the kid later in the draft? There was a good receiver they got later.
Oh, Malachi Fields.
Yeah. See the Notre Dame guy, or
we'll talk about him when we're doing offensive and defensive rookie of the year odds. So I'm curious.
I think they gave Jackson Dart the kind of help he really needed, or he could certainly use more than getting a Jeremiah Love, who's a good running back, but Scatterbo, even though he's coming off the injury. Seems to be okay.
Yeah, right.
And he proved he could do. He could be when he had the opportunity. So.
Yeah, you're saying, Walt, I bet you were downing monsters and ripping some cigs during the draft. Yeah, well, not monsters. It's Pepsi. Shout out to Pepsi for the real sugar. I don't like those energy drinks, but yeah, definitely a lot of soda for sure.
WaltFootball.com brought to you by PepsiCo.
I hope so.
Nice. Maybe somebody's watching. Maybe the CEO is watching.
Yeah, right. That's fine. Actually, this happened once to me. I wrote a Jerks of the Week entry on. I was complaining about Pepsi because they had It was actually this product. It was the Real Sugar one, and
Oh.
then they canceled it, and I complained about it. And then this woman who worked for Pepsi contacted me, and she said, "Oh, we're going to come back with it." And I'm like, "Oh, thank you, that's nice." So that was pretty cool. I'm glad they came back with it because the Real Sugar.
Did she send you a case to show how her appreciation?
No. The best I got was when I made I criticized Pizzeria Uno, which is used to exist right around the corner. My wife and I went there, and like they just gave us like such small portions, and I wrote about it. And then the manager of that Pizzeria Uno contacted me, and he said, come back, we'll give you a free meal. And he's like, I'll give you a free pepperoni pizza or something. That's the best I got.
And then did you mention it afterwards? Did
he
get his payoff?
I didn't. We actually did not go back because I actually talked about it with my wife, and my wife's like, I don't want to go back there.
Like, I don't want to go back to a place that might put salmonella in the pizza.
Yeah, exactly. She brought up. She's like, first of all, the food sucked. Second, they might poison.
She didn't like the food.
Well, no, it's such small portions, and so and
it's like Rodney Dangerfield and talking about his wife being a lousy cook. How do you screw up toast?
Oh man, he was the best stuff. Anyway, well, I've seen it. I've screwed up toast. Just have the wrong setting on the toaster.
Okay, so, that's the way to do it.
Yeah, like it's I turned the dial too far. It screwed up, so it could happen. Anyway, yeah. So she was like, they might spit in the food or something. So like we decided not to go back, and they closed down anyway. They don't exist anymore. So anyway, with this Jeremiah Love pick, it's. I mean, how did you don't like it? I take it, but who would you have taken instead?
I would have taken some more. I might have worked on the offensive line. Might have taken a receiver.
Well, they wanted to trade down badly and take Maunoa, but they couldn't find a suitor who was willing to pay them enough. Like they wanted 12 and 20.
I mean, like I say, it's a great pick, but his value. Look, I never root for guys not to do well. Mm-hmm. So I hope I'm wrong, but we may not see the future Jeremiah Love this season in Arizona. I hope he has a great year, but I think they had other needs that and especially in their division where they are. You'd have to say clearly, and not just based on last year, but let's say over the last 4 or 5 years, clearly the fourth team in that division by a wide margin.
Yeah.
You had 3 double-digit win teams.
Yeah, and it's hard to envision that changing anytime soon.
Yeah. So basically, you would be building for the future, and I would have thought that with Jeremiah Love available at number 3, that the Cardinals would have gotten attractive trade offers.
Well, they didn't.
I don't know if that was true or not.
But. They didn't. They said they wanted 12 and 20 from Dallas. Dallas would not give up 20. They said 12 and something else, like late round pick, mid round pick. So I heard from the Cardinals source during the day. I checked back in with him. I said, is it still going to be Love or are they going to trade down? He said, I'd be shocked if they traded down right now. Because he said they're not getting the they're not getting the proposals that they want. And
how many picks did they have in the first round?
They Arizona. Just had their one. They had 3 and then 34.
I would have thought that they could have traded down and gotten a late first round pick, something say 25 to 32.
Well, like I said, they want 12 and 20 from Dallas. Like that's what they were.
12 and 20 is probably asking a little bit too much.
Yeah, right.
Because you're asking. See, there you're asking for. We'll give up the number 3 and get 2 of the top 12.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I could understand Dallas turning that down.
Yeah,
but if you got say, give me, Dallas, what they have 12 and 20.
Mm-hmm.
Did Dallas trade in for another first round pick?
No, they traded down from 20 to 23.
Okay. Oh, okay. So they traded from 20 to 23?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
The Eagles.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. Yeah, I remember that one. Because I'm just thinking that if I were Arizona, a 3 pick. I know, but let me ask you this question: overall, compared to the last 5 or 6 draft classes, overall, or let's say first round overall coming into the draft. How did this year's draft class compare to the last 4 or 5 year round ones?
I think this is the worst draft I've seen since 2013.
Okay. So maybe that was the reason why Arizona could not get that more, because the 12th and the 20th pick in this draft were not as good as most 12 and 20s in the previous few years.
Yeah.
And Dallas said, you know what? We got a lot of people we like, and we'd rather keep 12 and 20 than we would 3 and say 34 or whatever it would be that they would get.
Yeah, and they also weren't training up for a true number three, because Jeremiah Love went 3 and Jency went 6.
But I'm saying it could have been anybody but Mendoza and Bailey. They were trading up for. They would have been trading up for.
Right. Look, Jency went 6, Love went 3. I think they're pretty similar, and so that just shows you that you don't give
Love a bit of an edge.
They're pretty similar. I think I'd rate them.
How are they as far as pass catching?
Oh, I mean, we saw Jency have a big season as a pass catcher. Down in the second half of the season when he was it was after the Jacoby Myers trade, I believe, when he really took off as a pass catcher, and he did a lot.
The Raiders had very few options because Bowers was double teamed all the time.
Yeah, he had he just really didn't have any other. They didn't have any other choice but to pass to Jency. But no, Jeremiah Love can catch passes. I think he caught about 30 passes last year, so pretty similar, I think. So yeah, I like I said, I would grade them pretty evenly. And so if you put Jency or if you put Love in last year's draft, maybe he goes 6, maybe he goes 7. I don't know, depending upon running
need.
Back. Right. And, depending on need. So, it just goes to show. So Dallas was not trading up for a normal 3. They were not trading up for whoever the third pick was last year. They're trading up for presumably Arvo Reese, who doesn't have a natural position. So it would be tough for them to give up 12 and 20 for 3. So I don't blame them for not doing that. So
no, I'm just surprised that there weren't other teams out there that would have done something, especially if you're in a rebuilding. If you're in a rebuilding mode, and I guess Arizona to a certain extent would fit there, but if you're in a rebuilding mode and you think you're a little bit closer than Arizona, was basically starting the draft with not much in the way of proven quarterbacks on the roster. You had Brissett, okay, nice, and you had Minshew, I think, was there at the time.
Yeah.
Okay, but I would have thought that a team, let's say, who would have gotten their first pick, or perhaps someone in the second round, who might have wanted to trade up and given up 3 draft choices for that number 3. Or certainly somebody who says, we're not going to compete this year, so maybe we can move up, get the number 3 pick, overall, give up some other draft choices, and yet get a player against whom, in their mind, we can build an offense or a defense around other than a quarterback.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, right. So, it's just
that's what surprised me about Arizona not being able to, or not getting offers that perhaps they normally would have gotten, and maybe it is related exactly to what you say, is that a number 3 choice this year could be, and even if it wasn't Jeremiah Love, and a number 3 choice this year is equal to like maybe a number 7 choice last year.
Yeah, I think
overall.
Right.
Prospect.
The Giants 3 with last year was Abdul Carter. I guarantee he would have been 2 this year. So, and for that matter, Will Campbell. The Jets don't need a tackle, but still, Will Campbell would have definitely gone 3. He went 4 last year. Mason Graham, I think that he would have gone 3 as well. So it just goes to show it's much different this year.
It's an art, not a science.
Yeah, and next year's class looks to be really good now. A lot can change. There could be injuries and such, and guys coming back and whatnot. But I published a 2027 mock draft on the site, and I'm like, oh my god, these guys are actually good players. it was pretty rough to make a mock draft this year. I talked to a scout on an NFC team a couple days before the draft, and he told me he had 8 to 10 first round grades on players this year. That's it
already.
8? No. In 2026.
In 2026, only 8 players had first round grades.
He said 8 to 10. He was like, he
8 to 10.
was iffy on 9 and 10.
Okay.
So yeah, it's just,
which I'm guessing from the way you phrased it is probably the fewest number that he's had than say in the past 5 years, year by year.
yeah. Usually teams have like 20, 21, something
Yeah.
like that. 8 to 10 is so. I've never heard anything like that. So that's crazy, and I don't blame him for coming up with that number because this draft class is.
No, when I looked at well, first of all, the fact that you only had, for the most part, forget Ty Simpson for a while because he was considered to be maybe a high second round choice. Okay, maybe an Arizona choice at 34. But when you take a look and you basically see only one quarterback and what were there, 2 running backs in the first round, and they were both Ohio State or something like that.
But from Notre Dame, yeah.
Notre Dame, rather, yeah. By the way, I like that. Who was the one who was picked 32nd?
Jadarian Price.
Yeah, I like that pick. But the fact that you have only 1 quarterback and 2 running backs, and what'd you have? About 4 receivers or a little bit more?
No, you had you had the top 3, which was Tyson, Tate, and Lemon, and then you had Concepcion, and then you had Omar Cooper. Right. And I believe that's it because Denzel Boston.
So that's 5 receivers, 2 running backs, and 1 quarterback. 8 out of 32. Yeah, that's skilled position. You had, I think, also the tight end, the tight end, the Sadik from Oregon. Where did he end up going?
He went to the Jets. He went to your Jets.
That's right. That's what I thought. 16. Yeah, because I would have liked to seen him go to Buffalo. I thought that would have been really nice there, with Joe Brady giving another weapon. He was a 2 tight end offense and being creative with Josh Allen. But so the fact that we had only roughly. Yeah, let's throw the 5, 6, the 2 running backs 7, the quarterback 8, and the tight end 9. So basically 25% at what you would call the skill positions.
Yeah.
That seems very low. And we're not even talking about the offensive and defensive linemen, but I think that the fact that you had so few skill position players in the first round is probably a good indication of the overall relative weakness of the draft. Of this draft.
I can tell you the exact numbers from the past 2 years. It was 10 in 2025 and 13 in 2024.
What's that? Of course, skill position?
Skill players. Of course, 2024 is buoyed by all those quarterbacks, but still.
Yeah.
It was a bad class for quarterbacks outside of Mendoza. It was a bad class for a lot of.
Step aside for about 40 seconds.
Okay, I will read comments as you do so. Drew says, Jadarian Price will be a monster in fantasy the first half of the season before Charbonnet comes back. Seattle always worries me because they always do this weird thing where they run different, multiple positions, and stuff like that. Like, remember they drafted Rashad Penny in the first round and then they barely used them. Like, I don't know. It was a different regime. That was Pete Carroll. So I don't know. I don't trust rookie running backs unless you're getting them like super late for value. I don't know what Price's ADP is. I suppose I could look right now on Best Ball right now. And by the way, $3 million to Best Ball first place, which is crazy. I don't know exactly where Jadarian Price is going in fantasy drafts right now. It's still early and a lot's going to change. The $25 entry, $3 million to first place. Andy, I don't know if you're back, but just because I'm looking at the other screen. I just kind of curious as to where Jadarian Price is going. Let's see here. Well, what's his name? Jeremiah Love is going. Andy, you're back. Oh wait, there he is. Andy, are you there?
Are you able to hear me?
Where do you think Jeremiah Love is going in fantasy drafts? It's very early.
Where is he going? What, third round?
212. So
212, a little close to middle of the second.
No, I sorry, I meant round 2, pick 12. So right at the end. At the end.
Okay. I'm okay. I'm thinking 32 teams. You're talking about fantasy, which is what, 12 teams?
12 teams, usually? Yeah.
Yeah. So I said maybe third. What did I say? Maybe third round.
Yeah. So you were close. And
again,
I'm
I'm saying that because of the team he went to.
Yeah, Jadarian Price, his ADP is 604. 603. So
and where did he go again?
Seattle. So yeah, 72 on ESPN. Yeah, so best ball is a little higher, which is you can understand. Yeah, Andy, $3 million of fantasy in first place this year in best ball. It's kind of crazy.
That's what. That's the prize pool. Or is that
No,
how much you won?
that's first place, $3 million.
I'm saying, is that how much you won?
How much I won? No, I wish.
Oh.
I'd be in a Caribbean island right now.
Yeah, I was just going to say your background would be sort of like beaches and stuff.
Right. No, it's 3 million to first, 2 million to second, 1 million to third, and then
What's the entry fee and about how many entries?
$25 entry fee.
Oh.
And there will be 940,000 entries into this. Let's see what else. What else? I don't know the other. Oh, here we go. I want to see fourth place is 500,000. Fifth place is 400,000. 10th place is 150,000. 100th place is 10,000.
I'm going to concentrate on the Circuit Survivor.
Well, it's fun. You could do these drafts when you're in the bathroom, and it's a good time. That's usually when I do them. Anyway, so as far as some of the other picks, I don't know if anything stood out to you. We had some trades. The Chiefs moved from 9 to 6, which I thought was completely unnecessary. I just don't know why they did it. It probably could have gotten
given who they took.
Yeah, they could have gotten Delane and not. I could promise you Washington was not taking him. We have sources there. And then the Saints were a wild card, but even if they take Delane, who, by the way, was not the most talented corner in this class, McCoy, if he were healthy, he would have been number one corner. If the Saints take Delane, then the Chiefs could take Tyson or Mauanoa or Caleb Downs. I
like a lot of what the Saints did.
The Saints? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like the Saints. I think they're a team.
I think they could easily win the division this year.
Yeah.
If Shook is what we saw over the latter part of last year.
Sure. And maybe teams will have tape on him and stuff, and there could be regression. But yeah, I think you're right. Like just based on what we saw, there's definitely plenty of cause for optimism there. So I would agree with that. So we'll see. I mean, it's not like they have a tough divisional schedule or anything. So anyway, we had I don't know how many other teams you want to talk about. Some of these teams, like the Dolphins, moved down. They got Caden Proctor. Dallas moved up with their first pick, and then they moved down with the second pick, which is interesting. They got Caleb Downs, which I thought was a great pick. I just didn't think they needed to trade up for it, but whatever. And then your Jets. We talked about your Jets with those players. The Eagles made that whole Eagles Steelers thing. I don't know if you're following that, where the Steelers were on the phone. Oh, there we go.
Yeah, I saw that. I was watching that.
Yeah, that was
in the middle of his phone call with the Steelers. The Eagles called and said, "We traded for you."
Yeah, yeah, that was pretty crazy, and I think the Steelers dodged a bullet, honestly. So with his combine interviews, as I said. There was a player, I talked about the story with you, I think, before, where this player with his combine interviews was asked, "Why do you love football?" And he said, "Because playing football is like hitting a BITCH." And the team was like, "Did you just did you just admit to domestic violence?" Or
now,
animal cruelty
if the guy was smart, he would have said P. ITCH pitch.
Right. Hitting a pitch. Yeah. I'm at the batting cages, I swear. I talking about domestic violence or animal cruelty, if I was being literal. So anyway, so I bring that up because that interview was tame, very tame compared to what Mekhi Lemon did in his interviews.
He looked like a little bit of an over cocky guy.
Yeah, I mean, his behavior in the interviews, if this persists in NFL locker rooms, he will not be in the NFL for very long, I promise. So he'll need to
wait until the first time he gets hit by an experienced NFL defensive back or linebacker.
Well, I mean, we saw what happened with Antonio Brown with those hits. I don't know. I feel like that's actually a bad fit, in Philly, honestly, with how he behaved in the combine interviews. It's pretty crazy. So
now does he come in? Is he going to be who's going to be number one in Philly at wide receiver?
Devontae Smith, which I love in fantasy this year. We've seen Smith without AJ Brown, and he just posts huge numbers. So I think he's interesting. I think we talked about him as offensive rookie of the year potential. And now we know for sure that AJ Brown is not going to be there because the top reporter of the Patriots said so. As far as other picks, we had as we said, the Browns made some good picks. The Bears did not address their pass rush at all, which was shocking to me. I get
because there were a lot of good pass rushers.
Yeah, so their top needs were edge rusher and defensive tackle. Defense, there weren't that many good defensive tackles, but edge rushers, there were some good ones, and they passed on all of them. So good luck getting after the quarterback. Charlie pointed out last year that they had a lot of turnovers last year, and they were able to benefit from that. But turnovers come and go.
They're relatively random.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure.
That's why when I do my handicapping and betting and all that, I don't necessarily place great emphasis on teams that benefit from opposition turnovers as much as I do from teams on offense that don't commit turnovers.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah.
Because when your defense, to a large extent, it's a matter of just being in the right position when a ball comes your way, from the quarterback for interception or who recovers a fumble, as opposed to quarterbacks who make good decisions and don't throw the ball into trouble, and receivers who are sure-handed, or running backs for that matter.
Yeah.
That's one of the things I always liked about New England with Brady.
Yeah. I mean, you could always rely on him for sure. So, there have been so many teams over the years that just have the feast on turnovers. Like, for example, I don't know if you remember the 2003 Bears who were like 12-5, and they had the second seed. They had so many turnovers that year. And the next year they just didn't get any. So
was Urlacher still there at the time?
That was one of the Urlacher years. Yeah. Jim Miller, the quarterback, by the way. So yeah.
Where was he? Was he Michigan State or
Jim Miller?
Or was it an Oregon maybe?
I don't know. I'm looking up right now. Michigan State. Yeah, good call. Good call. We are Tom and I. His nickname is Fat Jim Miller.
Fat Jim Miller.
Yeah. So, Anyways, the Bears no pass rushers at all, which is curious. The Dolphins made a lot of picks. They didn't take a receiver in the first round, but then they got a couple on day 2. So that'll help for sure. And then Patriots stood up for right tackle, so they should have better protection with Lomu. And the Titans trade up into the end of the first round for Falk, who was falling. But any other thoughts on these picks?
What do you think about Carson Beck?
Not a fan.
Going where he did seemed appropriate.
Yeah, I mean, look, the Cardinals had to take a chance on a quarterback. They had to take a young guy. At the time, I was like, why not wait another round for Nussmeier? But
that's the next guy I was going to ask you about. I thought he went way beyond where he should have.
Yeah, well, I mean, Charlie was talking about him yesterday. He said the medical was really concerning to teams.
Okay. Yeah, it couldn't be for the talent. I mean, I know he was injured, but
every time he threw the ball last year, he was wincing in pain. Like, you could see it. And he declined so much, and it was because of the injury. And I said, this seems like good value. But
now was this the year was his final year of eligibility?
Yeah.
Or did he come out early?
I believe it was final. I thought he could have came out the previous year. I think so.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
So it's really a shame. Sure. It's just I hope he made his NIL money because he lost a lot going back to school. So, have you heard rumors about Vrabel stepping down? I have not. I don't know. I
have not, but I would not be surprised.
Really? You think he would?
Well, you could see all of a sudden, a month from now, the wife files for divorce or something, and now that's a distraction, and takes up his time while he, these coaches like to be coaching 18 hours a day. It's an ugly situation, and it's going to have to be dealt with. Now, the Patriots are publicly saying they're supporting him, which is good. But it's hard to say.
If he was a bad coach, he'd be gone, right?
Yeah, oh, he's a very good coach.
Yeah.
He may even be better than a very good coach with what he did last year.
Oh
I
yeah.
mean, everybody thought that the Patriots were going to show great improvement. Nice schedule, and Vrabel coming over there and all that. I don't think anybody would have said Super Bowl. I don't know that anybody would have said 12 wins, and they had 14.
Well, you had that the sister of the one tight end, right? She had Seahawks Patriots exacta.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
She was the only one who said it. So
Yeah.
yeah, it was
Or one of the
that was
very
crazy.
few.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Or either that or Patriots fans who were like overly drunk when they made their bets.
Right. Yeah. You always have those homers for sure.
Yeah.
Professor Cake say, why not take a chance on Beck? Could turn out good. I agree.
Yeah. Where he went, absolutely.
I'm always a fan of taking a quarterback,
and he has a lot of experience.
The Jets took Klubnik in the 4th round. I feel like a very similar type of pick. Like Klubnik probably going to be a bust, but who knows? Maybe he pans out. We've seen it before. If you hit on these mid-round quarterbacks, like with Russell Wilson, you're going to be gold. You're going to
when you're drafted, whatever position, wherever you're drafted, it means that at least one, if not more, people from a professional level see something in you that makes you worth drafting. You may be unpolished, but you have raw talent. Or you say, I can create that little flaw he has in his throwing or his blocking or his tackling.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's well, again, that's why I say that you have so many late round draft choices end up, or even undrafted players end up having outstanding careers.
And you know what the thing with Beck is, and I forget who made this point to me, so I don't want to take credit for it, but whoever made this point is great. So, the mid to late year quarterbacks usually pan out are not the ones who are project mobile guys or like with high upside. It's usually the guys who have a lot of starts, a lot of experience in college. Like a Brock Purdy, for example.
Who was it who Parcells said that? He would not take a quarterback that didn't have like 15 30 starts or something.
Yeah, his benchmark was 30 starts, 60% completion.
Right.
I believe 2 years as a starter. I don't know if team captain was in there, but there was a checklist of it. Someone like Ty Simpson did not fill a bunch of those except for completion percentage.
There's a Bo Nix who filled all of them because he started like 80 games.
Yeah, right. And so we saw that. We saw that with Shuck, we saw that with Tyler Shuck. We saw that Bo Nix, and
how many starts does Shuck have? He was 3 years at Louisville.
He started. He was with Oregon too. And he had 32 college starts.
That's a good number. That's 2.5 years.
Yeah. I mean, he was Tyler Shuck was the number 1 pick in my 2022 NFL mock draft.
Your 2022?
He was when I did it in 2020. He was the number 1 pick in my 2022 NFL mock draft. That's how
he was the number 1 pick.
Number 1 pick, yeah, yep.
And he was picked in what, the 2025 draft?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So you had done this back in 2020.
Yep.
Now, what was he in your 2024 draft the year before? Was he even in there?
He was not in the first round though.
Okay.
But he went round 2 anyway. So
yeah.
I mean, he was someone with a lot of potential who didn't pan out, but then at the end he showed more potential. So he kind of like got himself back into the conversation. But then he was considered old, and that's why he didn't go in the first round. But
you start all those games. I mean, 32 is not a lot, but I mean, what was he? 23, 24?
I think 24, 25, maybe something like that. Yeah. Whoever made the first round, I highly doubt as first round mock, who has Beck as number 1 in this draft and had Mendoza as the worst. Oh yeah. There's some guy on Twitter who said Beck was his top. There's some guy on Twitter who he claims to be a former scout and he had Carson Beck as his number 1 quarterback, and he thought Mendoza was the worst quarterback in this class.
That's why he's a former scout.
Yeah, allegedly. I don't even know he's a scout, right?
No, but I don't even know if prior to last season, if Mendoza was on anyone's radar coming over from Cal.
I don't.
He was just average at Cal.
Yeah,
nothing that stood out about him.
So. Yeah.
It just shows you what a good coach Cignetti is.
Yeah, no, he's fantastic.
He could have any. He could probably have almost any NFL job right now.
I am sure. Yeah.
But there are a lot of guys. Joe Paterno was always a college coach. Could have been. He could have been governor of Pennsylvania if he wanted it at the time.
That's true.
Not knowing what unfolded later. But I mean,
right.
Bo and Woody were way back when. They could have been NFL coaches. Of course, there are fewer teams in the NFL back then, but it's a different. It's I don't know. It's a different skill set coaching NFL versus college. It's definitely a different mindset, though.
We've seen it, like guys who have only coached college and haven't been in the NFL. They're kind of like shell shocked when they come over to the pros. Like Steve Spurrier is.
Well, that's because in college you're the highest paid guy in the football organization. In the NFL, you're the lowest paid. Well, not quite, but you're telling guys who are making 3-4 times what you're making, if not more, what to do.
You remember the feud that Steve Spurrier and Jim Haslett had? Do you remember that?
Vaguely, I remember it was there, but you fill me in on the details because I'm forgetting.
So I believe the Redskins and the Saints played each other in Week 1 that year, and Spurrier.
What was this in the aughts?
Is 03, I think, or maybe 02. So anyways,
Spurrier was coaching Washington at the time.
Yeah, he was coaching the Redskins, and Haslett was coaching the Saints, and I believe they played each other Week 1. And I want to say that, so it wouldn't have been 02 because the Saints played the Buccaneers Week 1 that year, but it was maybe 03. So anyway, Spurrier was talking about how he's like, oh, this NFL schedule is so easy, I'm going to go play golf after practice. And Haslett was like, you don't think you understand how rigorous the schedule is? There's no time for golf. And so they went back and forth a few times, just insulting each other, and the Saints just absolutely demolished the Redskins.
Yeah, and it turned out that Spurrier ended up playing golf a lot sooner than Haslett did at the end of their coaching careers.
That's true. That's certainly true. So, yeah, that was a horrible stint from Spurrier, where he brought in all of his former players. Remember the Florida players, like he brought in Shane Matthews and Danny Werfel, called Danny Awful, and then
I'm wondering how many college coaches really succeeded in the NFL. I mean, there are a few. I mean, Jimmy Johnson comes to mind.
Yeah, Jim Johnson. Yeah,
and Dennis Erickson had some decent success in the NFL.
Yeah, but not many. Not too many. I mean, Saban had
John Robinson.
Run. Yeah, Saban had a decent run. Nothing.
Well, so it was what, 2 years with Miami?
Yeah, I mean that Miami team was bad when he took over, and he got them to like mediocrity. So like he improved.
I mean, it's not a big enough sample size. Pete Carroll definitely.
Well, Pete Carroll was in the NFL before USC.
Before he went back to USC.
Right.
I love that hire at USC. I thought that they were going to be a great team when he went back there because he can relate to the players, even though he's
I'm referring to like college coaches who never coached in the NFL and go to the NFL. Like Chip Kelly, a good classic example. He was awful with the Eagles and then the Niners.
Yeah. Jim Harbaugh was one of the ones who's done extremely well.
Yeah.
He went to college, then he went to pros, then he went to college, back in the pros.
That's true. Yeah. Although he played for a long time in the pros too, so that definitely helped. Pete Carroll's a half or a third coaches to win national title and Super Bowl. The other is one of two, one of three. The other is Barry Switzer. Barry Switzer. Yeah. Well, he took over a great team in Dallas. So and Jimmy Johnson. Yeah.
Jimmy Johnson. Yeah. He took over a good team from Jimmy Johnson. He didn't have to do much coaching.
No, he didn't. they with better coaching, they would have won more Super Bowls. The team was so talented. Kiffin coached the Raiders. Yeah, I would have done the same thing. Kiffin wanted Megatron over Jamarcus Russell. That's quite the decision, which was hard to believe. Almost 20 years ago now, that happened. It's like where
Al Davis is always like quarterbacks and speedy receivers.
Yep.
Back then.
Mm-hmm. He always
worked for many years. Yeah.
He took Darius Hayward-Bay over Michael Crabtree famously.
Say that again. He took what?
He took Darius Hayward-Bay over Michael Crabtree famously. Crabtree was laughing at the pick. I remember in that draft. It was like yesterday. I think it was it 08 or 09? I can't remember. But yeah, that was also almost 20 years ago. So yeah, pretty close, crazy. Yeah. So any final thoughts on the draft before we look at the offensive and defensive rookie of the year numbers?
No, I think we covered a lot of it. I always hate reading these evaluations of the draft because like nobody gets a D or an F.
Oh, I gave 3 teams an F overall.
Well, you're more understanding of the fact that not everybody wins the draft.
Yeah,
But
who'd
you give the Fs to?
The Rams, Niners, and Jaguars. And I gave a D to the Vikings, and I think I gave a D to the Texans. I'm not sure. But yes, yeah. I know I gave 3 Fs and 2 Ds, and maybe.
Well, let me ask you this question because this could be very helpful for betting this season.
Yeah.
When you go back over, let's say the last 5 to 10 years, have you tracked how the teams have done in the upcoming season based upon the grades you gave them?
I have not. That would be interesting to look at.
Be very interesting to look at because you're pretty sharp at this stuff. So, I mean, if you gave F grades to the 49ers and the Rams, 2 teams from the same division, it'd be interesting to know if the teams you gave something I think that Mark Lawrence sent me within the last week or so about teams and how they do if they have 2 first-round draft choices in the same draft, and apparently they do very well in that upcoming season. I'll have to see if I can find where that is. But.
So I'm looking at last year's grades.
After last year's 2025 draft, yeah.
Yeah, I was much kinder last year. I gave 1 F and 1 D.
Who'd you give the F to?
The Bengals.
They dropped off, but I mean a lot of it had to do with Burrow, but still,
Yeah.
And who was the D?
The Lions, who also dropped off.
Oh, and they dropped off greatly. They did not have any excuses.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Or certainly not to the extent that the Bengals had.
Right. Yeah. So yeah, that's interesting. I wanna check back in prior years. So that's
it's interesting again because the Detroit and to a lesser extent Cincinnati were Super Bowl contending teams coming into last year based on staying healthy.
Mm-hmm. Yes. The Lions for sure. I was on several shows before the season, and I said one of my top picks for teams to make the playoffs or not make the playoffs is the Lions to not make the playoffs.
Playoffs. Okay.
Yeah, and people were like, "Wow, I can't believe you're picking them to not make the playoffs," and they didn't even have a winning record.
8-9.
Yeah,
I think it was 8-9. Yeah,
8-9. Yeah, 8-9. Yeah.
Now was that largely? Now was your thought largely because of the draft, and that obviously in your mind did not contribute much positive additions to the or even negative additions for that matter, but that didn't really improve the team all that much? Or was it you saw a decline, or was it a situation of the Lions have done so much the last couple of years, inevitably it's due for a regression? Or was it perhaps the way they got blown out by Washington in the playoffs the previous year? Or
so I have it right here on the screen. The Lions drafted well in their current regime, but that doesn't be the case. They shockingly their poor draft began in the opening round. They were shell shocked that Booker and Donovan Jackson were off the board. They wanted both of them, remember? So they reached for Tyreek Williams, who didn't really do much last year. I considered a mid-second round pick. They used the second round pick on Tate Rutledge, which was a quality selection, but then the Lions made an inexplicable move, trade up for Isaac Tesla, who scored a couple touchdowns last year, but didn't really do anything. He was considered a third-day prospect. It makes no sense. The Lions believe they need to.
He was considered a what? What's it? Third rate?
Third day prospect.
Third day,
so,
okay.
Yeah, so they trade off for him for no reason. Of the Lions' 7 picks, 3 were graded C or lower, with Tesla being marked down as a Millen, which is an F. Detroit took players in position of need, but
is that like an award that you give for Mark Millen's great success with
Matt
the organization?
Millen, yeah.
Matt Millen,
Matt Millen, yeah. That's I call F grades Millen grades. I have done that for like 20 years.
Oh,
yeah. So it's I try to be creative too.
Very creative.
On top of that, the guy. Remember the guy? I believe he was drunk or something on day 2, and he was like, in the third pick in the second round of the 2016 draft. I don't know if you remember that, but some guy, when they have old players announce that he said
come
20,
back in there. Yeah.
He said 20,016 draft. So I gave it one of the grades was like Millen 20,016 Millen or something.
So in other words, your Millen Award winners this year were San Francisco, the Rams, and Jacksonville.
Yes. Which I like all 3 teams, but maybe I should second guess that now.
I like all 3 teams as well.
Yeah, and you know what? The one team surprised me. I think they did very well this past month, and I want to bring them up to you when we discuss any potential Super Bowl bets that we could possibly have. He's asking, do we have NHL futures? I have a 30-1 on the Flyers. They just won tonight, so they're going to the second round. They beat the Penguins.
Oh, did they? Okay, I didn't even check those scores yet.
1-0 overtime. So
oh no, I love I got to watch the replay of that. I love overtime games, especially 0-0.
No, yeah. It was I had that on TV just because I had the futures. So that is the only future I have for hockey. I'm not a big hockey bettor, but I just thought that the Flyers were playing very well this year, and it was a good number. So yeah. I just took it. Do you have any show futures?
No, I didn't. Although I'm tempted at the once we get out of this round of the playoffs before the next round, I'm tempted to take the winner of the Montreal Tampa Bay series to win the East.
Okay.
And Montreal took a 3-2 lead now with their win tonight in Tampa.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
So I haven't done that yet, but that's what I'm looking to do.
Okay. Well, yeah. We'll. Do you know what the number on that would be around?
Hard to say because we're only going to have 4 teams remaining, and I imagine Montreal. Well, no, Montreal or Tampa Bay. Well, certainly Montreal because they're probably number 3 as far as that goes, because Philadelphia will be number 4 as far as rankings.
Yeah. Okay. Lions reaching almost every pick. Yeah.
Although again, I'm not all that impressed with what's in the West. Yeah. Colorado looks very, very good, but Edmonton struggling.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Slice
VJK is winning tonight, but if they get past this round, I don't see them advancing further.
Slice is asking, do you think there's a possibility that Rossini's kid named Mike is actually Vrabel's? I don't. I think there's 100% chance.
100%.
Yeah. 200%. Is that too low?
Well, the name is. I could think that maybe the name Mike was picked for the connection.
I would be shocked if that's not Vrabel's kid.
You would be shocked or just surprised?
I would fall out of my chair if it wasn't Vrabel's kid. The timing adds up. Like they had the pictures of them after she was covering the game in the bar, and then 9 months later her kids is born, and 4 days after that she's like, which football guy does my son Mike look like? It's so dark.
Is that what she said?
She said it, yeah. She said it on Twitter, and then she deleted it.
Oh, now this was the were those the pictures from 2020 that the Post had?
Yeah, and then her son and then her son was born 9 months later in 2021. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. And 4 days after that, she's my 4-day-old son. What NFL or what she say? She's like, what NFL coach or player does my son Mike look like? She said she tweeted that.
Stupid thing to do.
She named her son after the guy she was having an affair with.
Yeah, I mean it's one thing to name to name the kid after Mike because they had a relationship, but to put it in the terms she did, who does he look like? And by the way, his name is Mike. Yeah. What now? Did she phrase it? What NFL coach does my son Mike look like, or did she say what NFL coach does my son look like?
Man, it's she deleted. I'm trying to find it. Maybe someone has it saved as an image somewhere. Okay, so it wasn't as drastic as I said. Look, I'm pulling it up right now. So here it is. If I can enlarge it, here we go. Keep looking at my almost 40-year-old son Michael while trying to figure out who are the best Michaels to ever play and coach in the NFL.
Why don't you just put the name in there?
Right.
Yeah. Keep looking at my almost 4-day-old son, Michael, while trying to figure out who are the best Michaels to ever play and coach in the NFL whose last name begins with V. Might as well put that in there.
Yeah. And it's coaching a team in the AFC South right now.
Right. Back then, Tennessee. Yeah.
Yeah. Man, how do you? It's like leaving breadcrumbs.
Now, I wonder if Rabel's wife knows about that tweet.
Oh, it was everywhere on draft day. It was everyone was talking about this.
Draft day this year, you mean?
It was like this surfaced on draft day because
this year.
So what happened?
No. It surfaced on draft day this year.
This year.
Okay.
This year.
Last week. Okay.
Because those pictures surfaced, and then people, some sleuths on Twitter, put it together. Like, wait, people looked at her timeline because she kept posting about the stuff. Like she posted once. She's like, I had such a great night after the night after. Those pictures came out of that day. She posted on Twitter, she had such a great day. and then 9 months later she tweeted this, and people were like, wait a second. And so this is what everyone was talking about during the draft, draft day, not like when the draft started.
So you're saying if I've got your time frame here, you're saying back in 2020 she made the comment what seems to be like the night that she and Vrabel had a great time.
Yeah.
And coincidentally, 9 months after that date, or roughly 9 months after, she gave birth.
Yes.
And 4 days later, she did the tweet.
Yes. So it was August. So her son's born August 2021. Okay. And that was the surface, it was 9 months. That was 9 months beforehand. So, yeah, she did. So there we go. And so, like I was saying, everyone was talking about this during draft day, and I was so angry because the draft day is supposed to be our biggest draft traffic day of the year.
Right.
And so people are talking about this and not the draft.
People were talking where on your show
on X, on like social media. Oh. Everyone was just talking about this and not the draft.
Now, did you do anything live that night or?
Yeah, I did a short video because I had so much work to do. I went live for an hour with Ben Wassley. We just did our draft grades, but
no mention of Rossini.
I don't know if we talked about her, but I was so focused on the draft, and I really just wanted to do a quick show because I had so much content to do. So I was so tired as well. It's just like the whole week. Yeah,
it's a hell of a week for you.
Yeah. I'm still exhausted. I was the kids were watching TV after dinner and their baths, and I just fell asleep on the couch with them as they're watching TV before bed. So just needed that nap very badly. She didn't leave breadcrumbs. She left the whole trail mix. That's so true. Yeah. So I don't care about the Rossini story. I care about how she got her info, but naming her son Mike. Yeah, I felt the same way. I didn't care about the story too much, but like now when she talked about her son that way, that's pretty dark.
It's like she's bragging about it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. She's put it out there. It's crazy. Yeah, it's like, let's give whoever wants to bring the lawsuit, let's give them plenty of material to have me guilty. I know. Someone did an AI video with Jerry Springer, like, and Vrabel and Rossini were sitting there, and Jerry Springer was like, "Oh, and the father is Mike." Yeah, I was just gonna say, yeah. No, but wasn't that who was that who had the show? Who did that? Maury. It was Maury. Sorry, it wasn't Povich. Springer. Yeah, it wasn't Springer. It was Maury. Yeah. And they have somebody out there and say, "Mike, you are the father." Yeah. And he goes, "Oh," and then Diane is like, "I told you, Michael." it's someone made this great AI video. It's perfect. It's so good. There's no way Vrabel steps. I don't think he steps down. I would be shocked. He's too good. It really comes down to Mr. Clean, Robert Kraft, deciding that it's not going to be a distraction. Well, yeah, Kraft is his own stuff. So that's what I say. Whatever. But no, I mean, look, if it's okay with the organization, if ownership does not feel that what will inevitably be, you would think, off-field distractions, certainly in press conferences, or imagine the Patriots losing a game and they wonder, how much does it have to do with Vrabel losing attention or something? As long as the organization does not
see any reason that his performance is being impacted.
Mm-hmm.
No reason to. It's not like if your suggestion is true and her cryptic quote, her cryptic tweet, it's not that cryptic. It's not like that's the first time that's ever happened before.
Yeah, as you say, yeah, I feel bad for the spouse
Absolutely,
and the kids. Absolutely, yeah, 100%. There was, by the way, was another AI video where it was Kraft and Vrabel, and Kraft's like, "Oh, Mike, I can get you some other NFL reporters. They can treat you real well." And Vrabel's like, "But Mr. Kraft, I love her so much." And Kraft's like, "You're not supposed to fall in love with them." So that was another really good one. There's a lot of people did some great work with that stuff.
Tell you what, Mike, let's go have some beers and then let's go over to this massage parlor I know.
Right. Oh man.
Yeah. No, I mean it's it's a sad situation, and we shouldn't be talking about it, but we have to talk about it because it's not like it's not like some guy who doesn't have notoriety and he has a situation at work or something.
So if hypothetically, if you were, I'm gonna pull up these odds. If you were interested in betting the Patriots to win the Super Bowl, I didn't get the sense that you were, but hypothetically, if you were, would this remove you from that? What I want to see what the odds are. They are 16 to 1. If you like them, would you be like, now I'm out? How would you feel about that?
No, I mean I'm not crazy about them because it's so natural to see a team that makes the kind of advances, and forget the Rossini, Rabel thing. That's nothing to do with that. But it's natural to think that a team that shows that dramatic improvement in 1 year will fall back. Number one, especially after you win the conference. Okay, number one, everyone's shooting for you. You were at last year where we want to be this year, and so now all of a sudden, instead of playing the lowly Patriots, it's now the Patriots are going to be, other than perhaps divisional or regional rivals, one of the most important games on every opponent's schedule. Then you combine that with the fact that, and I know it's not a huge number of games. I think it's only like 3 games that are affected, that you're playing the number one schedule of a number one team.
Yeah.
You're playing your 6 division rivals. Okay, that's 6 games. You're playing 1 full division in your conference and 1 full division in the other conference. Okay, so that's 6 plus 4 plus 4. That's 14 games where you finished in your division has no impact, because you're playing all 4 teams of the division and you're playing division. It's those other 3 games where you play the 2 first place teams in your division where you're not playing the entire division. It's the only game against that division foe, and then of course the interconference game.
Yeah,
that 17th game in the other conference. So it's really only 3 games that are impacted by where you finish in your division. Okay, other than the fact that you can't play you can't play yourself, and you may be the toughest team in your division. So let's say I'll use Buffalo because I still think they're the best team in that division, but Buffalo does not have as tough of a schedule as they would normally have. Let's say they were the first place team, even second place team, because they can't play themselves.
Right.
So they have so New England has an easy schedule to the extent that they don't have to play themselves, the best team in their division. They're playing the teams that were 2, 3, and 4 in their division. Just like the Jets are playing the teams that are 3, 2, and 1 in the AFC East.
Oh yeah, and it works the opposite too. The Cardinals can't play themselves, so every divisional game is very difficult. Whereas the Rams, Seahawks, and Niners, they get 2 easy divisional games. Yeah. So that works.
Which is interesting again, because those 3 teams had double-digit wins, which I don't know if that's ever happened before. It's a little easier, of course, now with the extra game to have 10 wins instead of 9. But so those other 3 teams, and I think when we did our first assessment of the teams to go over under wins, I think when we looked at the NFC West, and we may have done it for a couple of other teams, maybe we did it for the NFC North, is that we had each of those teams the top 3 teams going 4-2, and we may have had the Cardinals going 0-6.
Yes. I think that's correct. You think that maybe they lock themselves into one, maybe, and especially
Yeah, but
week
who do you take the? See, it's weird because
Right.
if you add it up, we probably had the division having one more win and one less loss, because we probably had Arizona going 5-1 and everybody else going 4-2, because we couldn't really decide which of the three teams that one loss to Arizona would come to. Probably.
Yeah, right.
But we figured Arizona's going to pull one of those upsets, but we could not come to. I don't know if it was an agreement or even seeing which one of the three, how you pick against any of those three teams.
Yeah, and I think maybe once the schedules come out, like we see who the week 18 game is, we could maybe say, okay, they're gonna win that game, because there might be a chance that the week 18 team rests their starters, but you can't really rely on that either. But that's maybe the best guess that we have.
Yeah.
Or maybe I was gonna say, or maybe like if Arizona plays the team in like week 9, and then the other team has a Thursday game coming up or something or whatever. So it could be a weird circumstance. But
the thing is, it's now the Jets won 2 games last year, or the Raiders won 2 games last year.
Yeah, Raiders won 2. Yeah.
And who are they against? The Giants
and the Patriots. Of course, week 1.
The Patriots week 1. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, but usually,
they beat the Chiefs too in week 18. So they won 3 games.
What, they have 3 games last year? Yeah.
Yeah.
Which was good enough to get the number 1 draft.
Yeah, because they clinched it, and they didn't have to lose in week 18, because the Giants beat the Raiders. Sorry,
Giants beat the Raiders. Yeah,
the Giants beat the Raiders. Right, that's what it was. Yeah.
Yeah, because usually, if a team's going to have 1 or 2 wins, you would normally think it would be against one of their division rivals.
Mm-hmm.
Because you got 6 opportunities and you're most familiar with those teams.
Yeah, you would. Yeah.
Yeah. So as far, I just think the odds of New England at 16-1 is a little bit lower than I would have liked to consider them. Although I don't know that I would have considered them, because I think you go from what they have 4-13 2 years in a row, going to 14-3.
Yep.
That's a big jump. They took advantage of a very easy schedule. Now they're going to have a little bit more difficult schedule. And again, as I mentioned before, because people, I think, overrate it when they hear, well, Patriots won their division last year. Oh, they're going to have a tough schedule this year. Well, it's not going to be as tough as it might not be as tough as most people think, because most people don't analyze it the way we did. And we said, oh, well, it's only 3 games in the schedule that are affected.
Sure. Well, my question to you is, like, if you did like them, would you downgrade them for the Rossini thing?
No.
You really wouldn't care?
I have no reason to right now, and we don't know if I don't know if the 16-1 was already lowered.
Yeah, I can't remember what it was. Yeah,
that's
Raiders.
Right. Raiders over Pats was one of the weirdest. Absolutely.
This is why I tell Andy all the time. I'm like, once you get to like week 4, I throw week 1 out.
Week 1 out, yeah.
Just it's preseason, because these guys don't play in the preseason, so it's just so hard to trust. So anyway,
especially because you had 2 head coaches making their first starts.
Yeah,
as coaches of those respective teams, and they were both coaches in Pete Carroll, Mike Vrabel, who had success previously.
And a new quarterback for one of those teams. Geno Smith was he.
Well, right.
Drake
May was
Drake
already
May.
in his second year for.
Yeah, but he didn't have like a full season as a starter, so he was fairly inexperienced too.
He had as much experience playing under Vrabel as the Jets quarterback. Who was it last year?
The Jets quarterback is Justin Fields.
It was Justin Fields at the start of the year. That May had as much experience under Vrabel heading into last season as Justin Fields had under. I'm sorry, we're talking about Pete Carroll, as Geno Smith had under Pete Carroll.
Yeah. Slice is asking Raiders over 5.5 wins is -150, under +125. What do you take?
I would take the over, except for the 150. I want to see if that comes down.
And I wonder if I don't know, Slice, if you had that here.
If that goes up to 6, and I have to lay minimal vig, even though it takes 7 to win, I'm willing to take a push if the vig is reasonable.
Yes, I agree. Yeah,
there's only one number. There's only one number that matters, and that's the number 6.
Yes, shop around. If you can find a -130. maybe you do that. I don't know what it is in Kalshi or anywhere else, but yeah, I'm just looking at DraftKings right now. We'll have once the schedule comes out, we'll have another show on win totals.
Yeah, let me see. Let me see what I had at one of the local places here that I got them from. Let's see. They do it in this order, and the Raiders.
Yeah,
was over 5.5 was minus 35 at the time.
Okay.
So it's gone up a little bit.
Bad.
Yeah,
it's not bad. The Raiders total wins.
What'd you rate them in their draft? The Raiders.
What did I have? Let me see. I did not like how they didn't draft the receiver to help out Mendoza. I thought that was bad. I gave him a C- actually.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's a little bit harsher than most people.
I'm not. Well, I grade very poorly. I did.
Well, and the reason being, by the way, is that and your method is based upon. See, I would like to grade drafts combination of what you do as who did they pick, not who they didn't pick.
Yeah, that's fair.
Because especially for a team like the Raiders who had the needs in so many positions.
Well,
was there a pick? Did the Raiders make a pick at a position at which they were already strong?
Well, they weren't strong at that many positions, so
that's what I'm saying. So they any pick they made would have any pick they made would have improved.
Yeah, but I on the other hand, I think you need to help out your young quarterback and not strand him with bad.
Well, that depends. That also supposes he's going to start. We don't know that yet. At
well,
some point, you would think he would see.
They did actually draft a player at a strong position, which was Trey Zune, their third-round pick. He's a center.
Tight end.
And
no, center. Yeah, well, they improved that with.
Yeah, they signed.
Linderbaum?
Yeah, they signed Taylor Linderbaum, and they already had a center. So why would you spend a third-round pick on a center? Now the argument is he could play guard, but I really don't think he translates to guard. And he was awful at tackle too. So. I think center is his only spot, and they already signed a center. So, why would you make that pick? Just draft the receiver there, help out Mendoza. I thought that was a mistake. When I do these draft grades, I actually have I write about the goals for each team.
Do you have a little formula that you use where you assign points or whatever? Filling a need. Potential starter. Is worth maybe 2 points or something, and failure to pick a certain position might be minus a point or two. Or is it more? I'm not going to say gut, but is it less formulaic and more subjective? Let's put it that way.
Well, I do individual grades, and so those are factored in.
Now, individual grades per player or per team.
So I do both. I during the draft, as soon as the pick is made, seconds after every pick is made, I post my grade. Because it's announced on Twitter beforehand, right. So you know what they are, so I could do the write-up before. And so as soon as Goodell says it, just click, and it's on site. And so I do the individual grades. And then on Sunday, after the draft is over, I do the team grades. And so when I do team grades, I factor in a couple things. I discuss the goals the team needs for that draft. So, for example, said the Raiders are obviously drafting Mendoza. What they need to do is help him. They need to give him offensive linemen. They need to give him receivers. Right. Because if you don't have that stuff, there's a chance that he could fail. And that would make this whole draft a complete disaster. So that was the goals. And then I look at the grades for each pick. And then I look at if they satisfied their goals. And I kind of marry the two together. And that's how I come up with the grades. There's no set formula, but
I was going to put in a formula there for you because I know you have a great deal of respect for Charlie's mock draft.
Yeah.
Okay. And I don't know, how deep does he go in his draft? Does he go all 7 rounds?
Yeah, we both do. Yeah.
Okay. Because what I do is if you consider, there are 2 ways you could do it. Okay. You could do, and it involves a little bit of work depending on how much you want to devote to it, but you spend so much time that it might give you, a good overall impression by doing a formulaic type thing. Is, let's say you could do it one of 2 ways. You could just rely totally on Charlie's mock draft, or you could include Charlie as one of, say, 5 or 6 final mock drafts from established draft quote unquote experts that you respect. And what you would do is you would say, okay, And let's say, okay, it's the Raiders. Now we're going to evaluate their draft. Okay, Mendoza, the number 1 pick. Okay, and the number 1 pick of the draft. I'll use Charlie's as an example. Okay, number 1 draft. Mendoza, number 1 pick, and the actuality is Mendoza was the number 1 pick, and so the Raiders get like 0 points for that because it was exactly where they picked. Now let's say the number 2 pick is Bailey, and let's say I know this wasn't the case, but let's say Charlie had him at number 4, okay, and he was picked number 2. Was it Tennessee who picked him? Number 2?
No, the Jets.
No, not Tennessee. It was
the Jets took Bailey.
The Jets at number. So you would give the Jets a -2 because the pick that the Jets made was rated number. Let's say Arvil Reese was the number 4, was the projected number 2, and Bailey was the number 4. Okay, that the Jets would get a -2 because Arvil, the guy they picked, was number 4, and which was -2 because the Jets picked number 2. They should have picked the number 2 guy, whoever number 2 was. And conversely, if the team picks a guy who in Charlie's draft is rated number 2, and the team that picks him in number 7, that team gets a +5.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. Yeah,
it's just a way. Either way, you are evaluating based upon the opinions, but you are basing it on the opinions of guys who are being paid hundreds of thousands of dollars to make these decisions.
Yeah, and some of them incompetent despite the salary.
But again, remember the guys who are putting out. Let's say Charlie is factoring into his mock draft the needs of each team. In other words, he takes a look at everything and makes his evaluation and listens to the scouts, whatever, and says, okay, this team Buffalo has 3 needs, and we think that. By the time they address their first need, this will be the best player at that position available. So you're looking at expert opinions based upon information from scouts and also evaluating the teams versus what ultimately the team does, which is, I think, another way of evaluating the organization as opposed to specific players.
So with Charlie's picks, I obviously trust him more than anyone, and so when my grades will be dictated depending on where he has these prospects. If he has,
it's a similar thing, just not formulaic, but it's basically the same. Same concept.
If he has a prospect in the 3rd round, and my evaluations personally are like, I definitely buy that. I have him around that range, and the guy gets taken late first. Which I'll get to in 1 second.
That would be a negative for you.
Yeah, it'd be a huge negative.
Because Charlie said he's not that good. He should be 3rd round, and he went first.
Right. So that's like
you're going to take a look at. Now, are you going to do anything with that McCoy's? Is that who you were going to head to?
McCoy. That would be the opposite because people said first.
Yeah,
round.
I'm saying that there was the Raiders one where he was listed highly, but he fell because of the injury concern.
So you're right.
In other words, if you use the formulaic thing, I forget where he was listed. Wasn't he listed like top 15?
Yeah, he was. Look, if he was healthy, he would have been a top 10 pick. A lot of mock drafts had him going number 16, for example. I had him in the 2nd round just because I thought that he would drop because of the injury, but he dropped even further than I thought. So
that's what I'm saying. So now that would be a good pick for the Raiders, even though there's the situation because the talent is 1st round talent, but the injury concerns, which are legitimate, drop him down.
Yeah.
So, people would consider that to be a value pick for the Raiders simply because of where he went and where he was projected. And again, I'm talking about the final mock drafts of these people who took into consideration all the concerns for him.
I mean, the concerns
could see him having a good career, but it may be. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
The concerns are even more dire than people thought. So that's why he fell so much.
I'm thinking that he could have a good career, but a short career.
Yeah, it's a degenerative knee, so
Yeah.
it's very pessimistic. But what if they progress medically, and it's suddenly, or maybe it's
Yeah.
not as bad as people think. It's you know I think it was a good pick in the fourth round. I just thought
Yeah.
that it's a good, like, why not take a chance? Like, the guy you're going to draft otherwise probably won't be that good of a player, so why not take a shot?
Have
Um,
you taken a look at the rosters of the teams? I'm sure it's out there somewhere, or AI could probably do it. Of, let's say, the maybe you go by the final rosters of last year. How many players on the rosters last year were number one draft, first round draft picks, second round draft picks, third round draft picks, etc.?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if
I
I
think
really
I
did
see
that.
that sometimes in the preview magazines where they evaluate the team's success over, let's say, the last five drafts. But they usually do it as far as how many of those picks that were the ones that the teams made, as opposed to, where they acquired guys from, free agency or trades or whatever.
Yeah. I've never looked at that, so I don't. I never thought about it. By the way, Kevin Kovac, $10 super chat. Thank you so much,
Nice.
Kevin.
Yeah.
Really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Biggest
Getting us
draft
over the-
surprise.
getting us over the poverty line. Let's go, Kevin. So he says, "Evening, Walt and Andy. Good to see you both. Biggest draft surprise off the top of your heads. Read your coverage. Haven't checked out Team Grace yet. Cheers." Yeah, Kevin. Thank you. So I think it started. So I don't know.
I think most people would say Ty Simpson.
I agree, yes. But based on, I want to get to that in a second, but based on the odds, that I don't know if you tracked the odds of the number 2 pick. You did not. Okay. I'm going to tell you, and I want to get your reaction to it, because I mean, you've been in Vegas for a while. So at the start of the day, David Bailey was the favorite to go to the Jets. He was minus 180.
Right.
This is on Kalshi. Around 2:00, it flipped, and I thought, okay, someone knew something. I thought so. Reese became the favorite. He was like minus 140, and he was.
That's probably because everybody who started focusing on the draft was listening to all the things. Well, the Jets canceled their interview with Bailey, and they really like Reese.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and yet the odds makers made Bailey the favorite.
Mm-hmm. To start, yeah. Well, to start the day, at least.
I wonder if your subscriber that we're talking about knew about the Jets situation.
I wonder. Yeah, I don't know.
Or found out about it.
Maybe, yeah. So anyway, so
you, by the way, you did it. You and Charlie did have Bailey going number 2, right?
Yes.
Okay.
So Reese became the favorite, minus 140, and then when the draft started, Reese went to minus 230, and then.
Did they take it off? Did they take it off the board?
No.
When did they take it off the board? After the pick is made or something?
Well, yeah. Once it's announced, you can't bet anymore. But on Kalshi, they don't care. They don't. That's not a sports book. There are people betting with each other.
No. I'm not talking about sports books or wherever. I'm just talking. When does betting close? On Kalshi, for example, does it occur? Does betting close for the number 2 pick after the number 1 pick is announced?
No.
Or does it go right up until the number 2 pick is announced?
It goes until Goodell says the words.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it's very unique. Like, it's like I said, they don't care. They're not losing money.
Now, if I understand correctly, when we see Goodell announcing the pick on TV, there's a delay.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, it's not good.
So you got to have somebody in Pittsburgh live texting whoever can make a bet. It's going to be Bailey. It's going to be Bailey.
Yeah, and look, we saw that with the U.S. soldier or whatever he was, the guy
who did the thing with Venezuela.
Yeah. So this happens on a bigger scale, much more important than the NFL draft. So look, but anyway, so my to continue this story. So when Goodell said the draft is open, so Reese was minus 230. When Mendoza was announced, Reese went up to minus 650. And then someone told me a minute later, I didn't check, but a minute later, Reese went up to minus 1,700 to be the top pick. And
to be number 2 pick.
Yes. And I'm thinking, oh, I guess Woody Johnson's third cousin heard from Woody Johnson and betting the maximum bet was $75,000. He opened like 5 accounts and kept betting it. Like that's what I thought happened.
Oh, that's what you thought happened. I thought maybe you knew it happened.
No, I
Yeah.
was like, I would guess I'm wrong about this. I thought Bailey would be the second pick, and then Bailey obviously is the second pick. So to half answer Kevin's question, given the odds, I given the run up, like I thought Reese for
Yeah.
sure was going to be the second pick, even though I had Bailey. So that was a surprise. I don't know. I want to hear your opinion, Andy. Of like, have you seen anything like that? Like such
If
like
I would, if
FOMO
I would
betting,
look at
you
it
know?
the way that you just looked at it, I'd say yes, that has to be the surprise simply because of the betting action
Yeah.
that occurred within seconds of the pick.
Yeah, such FOMO betting, like it's crazy. It's like almost a
What's
stock
FOMO? FOMO is what?
fear of missing out.
Fear of missing out. Okay.
Yeah, so people are just betting like crazy.
Hadn't heard that one in a while.
Yeah, it's kind of like I don't know if you keep track of
I'd
stock
call it more. I'd call it more instead of FOMOGREED.
That's a good one. It reminds me of the I don't know if you follow the stock market or all, but have you seen
sure.
Avis's stock price?
That I have not. No.
You need to see this. Avis's so they are the car stock price. Their stock ticker is CAR. Let's go. Let's do a month here. So they were, look at this, on March 31st, they were $145 a share. And they go up. They popped up to $713 a share on April 21st, and now they are back down to 181. So this is FOMO. This is the Arvo Reese number 2. So just
Right.
going up, and then someone's left holding the bag, and then it drops out.
Has there been any? What would the? You're talking April 21st is when it reached its peak.
Yes. Yeah.
So we were about 7 weeks into the Iran war.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm trying to think how that would affect the rental car industry.
Well, this has nothing to do with the rental car industry.
With the gas prices.
This has nothing to do with the rental car industry. This was 2 people had shares. 2 people had so many shares of this that they had more shares than there was shares available, and so it just kept squeezing itself because every time someone shorted it, they would have to cover because there weren't enough shares.
Right.
So it was a short squeeze, kind of like what GameStop was
right.
5 years ago. And so it popped up to 713. And then what happened at 713, the company's like, well, we're going to do an offering here. And so that's why it came crashing down. I actually bought puts when it was 500.
So they're going to make more shares available.
Yes. So now
diluting the value.
Right. So there's no squeeze. And this company, by the way, not to get off track of football, but I asked my wife this, and she was floored. Avis has $500 million in cash right now. Do you want to guess how much debt they have?
$500 million in cash? I would think it wouldn't be very much.
Well, how much debt do you think Avis has? Just take a guess.
What'd you say? 500 million?
They have 500 million in cash right now. Right. What do you think their
Without
debt
knowing the structure of the debt, I'd say they have none.
They have 34 billion in debt.
34 billion?
Yes.
Okay, I was looking at it the other way around.
Yeah. So this is headed for bankruptcy.
Now they would obviously say if they're going to have an offering, they need the cash then.
Yeah,
that's
right.
a huge gap.
The 500 million is before the offering, but yeah, 34 billion in debt. Yeah, so this they're going bankruptcy unless they get bailed out some way. So yeah,
sure sounds that way. That still doesn't. Yeah, because if they have that much debt, how could that stock ever get up to as high as it did?
Well, because of the squeeze, because there weren't any shares, and so
I'm saying, how could there not be any shares around? How could these people be investing that much into a company that has 500 million in cash and 34 billion in debt?
Well, it's two hedge funds who realized, by the way, this could be GameStop all over again because the shorts are a little too greedy, and so that's what happens. So some people got really burned, and some people made out well who bought puts at the top. I wasn't quite at the top, but yeah. So anyway,
when did you get rid of your last put?
I still have it. My puts are dated January 2027, so I have a lot of time. So,
but I assume you got rid of a lot of them.
No, I only bought one contract. The contracts are so expensive. The contracts are so expensive.
What's your price at?
Is $800 for the put.
But it was. I never reached that. Yeah. Okay.
Well, no, sorry. No,
But I mean, it doesn't matter because you can get that anytime you want, as long as it doesn't go up to 900.
Well, the put cost cost $800.
Yeah.
The strike price is $100.
Oh, okay. Well, that's what I was saying. I was wondering what the strike price was.
Yeah, but if you buy like a strike price close to it's like $5,000 a contract. It's insane. It's crazy. So, and I don't want to get burned because there's always a second wave, but usually when there's a short squeeze like this, it goes down below what it used to be.
So right now your put is not worth very much.
It's up 20%.
Oh.
So it's.
What'd you say the strike price was $100?
$100, yeah.
What'd you pay for it?
$800.
Oh, okay.
It's the put's worth like $1,000 right now. So
okay.
Anyway, I would love to have a whole conversation about stocks because I shorted. I bought puts on Meta's ETF. They're 2x leverage ETF, and they had earnings today, and their underlying stock dropped like $50. So I was very excited about that. So yeah, I could talk about.
Where's that contract at? What's your strike price there?
The strike price of Meta's, so it's METU, which is I think the strike price was $34. And
where's the stock at now? 30?
It was 30 before close, and now after hours right here it's 25.92.
Oh, okay.
So it's gonna be.
What'd you say your strike was? What'd you say? 34?
Yes, 34.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah. When I paid about like $400 for it or something, or $500, can't remember. Anyway, so sorry, it's Kevin, to get off track with your question. My 1A answer is Bailey, just based on what happened with the Reese odds, and that's why I wanted to ask you, Andy. Like, have you ever seen such crazy betting like that?
No.
Yeah. Okay.
Not to that dramatic swing.
Okay, and 1B is Simpson, because we don't have Rams sources. They're pretty tight-lipped, but like there are people I trust who know stuff about the Rams, and they all thought they were going to take Mekhi Lemon or trade down and take Kenyon Sadiq, and they went with it. No one had Simpson. Charlie had Simpson.
I will say, by the way, that
Lindy's.
Are you familiar with Lindy's publication?
Yeah.
They put out a draft. They had Simpson going to the Rams at that spot.
Okay, so
that publication came out probably a month ago, after the combine.
Right
before the combine. I'm not sure.
They probably wrote it way in advance. So Charlie also had Simpson to the Rams, but he changed it eventually, and I think some people did as well. Once Simpson was I don't know what odds you got him at to be in the first round, but a couple of weeks before the draft, I think he was -110 to be a first round pick. What do you remember? What odds you got him?
No, it was a plus price.
Okay,
but not a lot. It might have been like +115.
Okay. Yeah, I saw -110.
A week ago is already a long time. It's not even a week, but it's
it's
a long time. So much happened since then.
Right. So yeah, I saw -110. So that's what I'm saying. That like I think the people who had him 13 moved off of that because they thought that he would go later. So yeah, that was really shocking too. So that's Kevin. That's to answer your question. So thank you so much, Kevin, for the super chat. Really appreciate your contributions as always. Okay, let's. Do you want to?
I would say that I don't say, like I said at the very top, I do not disagree with the pick because I understand what they're doing. Okay, and the reason why I say it was the biggest surprise is because of it was a first round pick that was not expected to be in the first round, much less in the top 15.
Yeah,
and there were no injury or other concerns that would have all of a sudden given him a big upside, or any reasons that that would have given him positive things that enhance his value, or negative things like injuries that would have dropped him.
Yeah,
and again, I think it's a surprise also because of the fact that it's not an immediate need. And most people, and I can understand it, and I will agree with it. And sometimes, if you're a Super Bowl contender, you don't have to, you don't have to. Well, normally, if you're a Super Bowl contender and have been one for the last few years, like I said, it's just a matter of making the key plays at the key times and playoff games. And the one player that you get this year that might help might not even be involved in those games, as opposed to we've got enough talent around us and options, whether it be during training camp or during the season with guys who get cut or drop from the 53-man roster, for example, to practice squads or whatever, that they could pick it up. And yet they're planning ahead because they know that their quarterback position, which has been so largely responsible for their success over the last few years, is going to have a relatively soon expiration date. So let's be prepared. We're picking a guy who we know that unless something significant happens negatively, is not going to be called upon or relied upon for short-term success in the next year, 2 or 3, but will develop nicely and will be totally familiar and comfortable in our system when Matthew Stafford ultimately retires. Now, he got an extension, didn't he, or were they just talking about the extension, Stafford?
I think it was a year ago. I think that.
No, I thought they talked about something that came out the day after this draft. I think last Friday.
Oh, okay. I guess I missed it. I don't know. Yeah. So anyway, yeah, that was definitely shocking for all the reasons you mentioned. So, all right, let's get into some offensive rookie of the year and defensive rookie of the year odds.
All right.
I don't know if you looked at these yet, or if you had any.
No, I haven't. I have not.
Okay. So we went over this a little bit yesterday at the end of Charlie. Charlie gave his opinions.
Yeah. Are you able to enlarge that a little bit?
Yes.
I know it'll take fewer people out, but.
How's that? Does that work for you? You can.
I can.
You can expand the window. And if you're using the StreamYard at the bottom right,
I think
there's a square there. You can
there we go.
it.
Yeah, I got it.
Okay,
I got it. Yeah, I've got it now.
Okay, so as you can see here on the screen, for people who are just listening, I'll read it off. Jeremiah Love plus 250, Mendoza plus 350, Tatus 5-1, Tyson 6-1, Price 750, Lemon 950. Beck 15-1, Cooper 18-1, Sadiq 18-1, Concepcion and Boston are 25-1. Kalen Black and Bernard Antonio Williams are all 30-1. Branch, Ty Simpson, and Mike Washington all 35-1. Fields, Brazell are 40-1. Jonah Coleman, Garrett Nussmeier, Drew Aller, Eli Stowers, DeJohn Stribling, Kay Klubnik all 50-1. Emmett Johnson, Ted Hurst, Jacoby Lane all 60-1. Xavier Thomas, Caleb Douglas, Chris Bell, all 75-1, and the following are all 100-1. Sam Roush, Nate Boerkircher, Max Clare, who someone told us his name is actually Maximum Clarity. Will Kasmarek, Eli Raridon, Oscar Delp, and Marlon Klein. Like I said, all 100-1. So let's go to the top of the board and then talk about some longer shots. Who do you like for offensive rookie of the year at first glance?
Looking at the ones up there now, MVP, we're talking about, usually goes to the quarterback. Offensive rookie of the year. Who's won it the last few years? Offensive rookie of the year.
Last year was Tedero McMillan. The year before was it Jane Daniels? And then the year before CJ Stroud. So yeah, those are the past three. Like Puka Nacua won it a few years before, the year before that. Or
now, if you want a long shot, go down just a little bit.
Okay, around here or lower?
No, right there is fine. And again, this is a stretch. And you probably know more about it because you follow Drew Aller at 50-1. The reason being because you're taking a chance that Rodgers won't be back, and that Aller will do enough to win the starting job for a team that's been a playoff team the last few years. And it would be a situation where, especially with McCarthy coming in, that if the Steelers could end up going 10-7, which is a mediocre record, might be due to the passing game.
Mm-hmm. But Puka Nacua not. Garrett Wilson was the receiver before Stroud because Nacua and Stroud were the same year. And the Jamar Chase before that, Herbert, Murray. So position wise, it's been receiver, quarterback, quarterback, receiver, receiver, quarterback, quarterback.
Yeah.
The last running back to win Offensive Rookie of the Year was Saquon Barkley in 2018. But there were that was a span where they had 3 and 4 years with Barkley, Kamara, and Gurley with Prescott in
Yeah.
between.
So I don't know playing with Arizona that Jeremiah Love will be able to put up the numbers, especially when you base it on win-loss. And, we talked about them playing in that division with the 49ers, Rams, and Seahawks. Kenyon Sadiq, the tight end. But then again, you're talking about a team that's not likely to have, 9-10 wins.
Yeah.
Where did Boston go to?
Denzel Boston. He went to Cleveland.
Yeah, there's another team I couldn't see it. Let's go up a little bit.
It's at the top.
Tyson went to.
It's the Saints.
Saints.
I think that's what Charlie is his favorite. He picks Tyson and Price.
And Price went to Seattle, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is Charbonnet with the torn ACL.
Yeah. Because I like the Saints this year.
Yeah.
It's a winnable division because any of the 4 teams can win it.
Mm-hmm.
And the Saints are probably the hottest team down the stretch in that division.
Yeah.
So I could see, I just, 6-1 odds just isn't attractive.
Yeah, it's really not. But
Price is even at 750. It's not great odds, but he figures to get a lot of action with a team that has a lot of strengths, Seattle.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because usually the talk on Rookie of the Year, as you've seen, is based on quarterbacks and receivers.
Mm-hmm.
There really aren't much in the way of quarterbacks. I mean, who was the one that I saw there? Did you have Nussmeier in there somewhere?
Yeah,
50 to 1, I think.
50 to 1. Yeah.
I don't understand that.
You need Mahomes to not come back and Fields to get benched for Nussmeier to play, and that assumes Nussmeier's healthy enough to play.
Yeah, that one should be 500 to 1.
Yeah, I know.
Seriously.
I know. Yeah, I agree.
So Aller at 50 to 1. He's going to a team that has some weapons. Proven head coach.
Mm-hmm.
Is in a winnable division given the uncertainties about how Baltimore will do, the issues that Cleveland has, and the Cincinnati Bengals, who knows what to expect from them. Although, what would you give their draft grade, the Bengals?
So that was one team I wanted to bring up with you, the Bengals,
because they did address some of their defensive issues.
Yeah, so I gave him a B-,
Okay.
but that does not factor in the Dexter Lawrence trade.
Okay.
So they made a lot of upgrades,
which I don't know. I don't know. Wouldn't you include that in the draft because of the fact that getting Lawrence impacted what they did with the rest of their draft?
So it's a very slippery slope, because if you do that, then suddenly I have to grade the Packers higher because they got Parsons. And that happened a long time ago. And so if you do
I would not grade, because that happened last year.
Yeah,
that was unrelated to this year's. What's that?
Yeah, but they still didn't have a first-round pick because of the Parsons trade.
Yeah.
So it's kind of the same thing, like both teams didn't have the first-round pick because of those defensive players. And so, how do you factor that in?
But they didn't have a first-round pick because of something that happened last ago where they've already got a benefit out of it.
I know, but that's
in other words.
I don't know.
When was the Dexter Lawrence trade made? Before the draft,
a couple weeks before.
Was it that long? No, wasn't it made? Didn't they trade him right before the draft? The Giants.
It was in actually it was Saturday before the draft, because I remember I had I got home from a kid's birthday party. My daughter got invited to her first birthday party. It was fun.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Except that these people didn't have any food. These people didn't have any food there.
In the old
Like-
days, I would have asked how many rolls of film did you take, but how many digital pictures did you take?
These people don't have any food. Like
Oh.
they had their food table was half a bottle of cream soda, watermelon chunks, potato chips, and a ketchup bottle. I don't know. What
Maybe they were
for.
expecting the guests to bring some food.
I don't know. We gave a present. I don't think that's standard. I think. And yeah, they had look. First, they were nice people, so I feel bad to talk about them this way, but like they had this. So they wanted everyone to take off their shoes when they went in the house, right? Which I can understand.
How about Malachi Fields?
Forget the story.
Go ahead with the story. No, just focus on him right now.
No, I like Fields. I like Fields a lot. That's someone I brought up to Charlie yesterday. I brought up 2 people for Charlie to consider. He liked this one better than the other.
I want you to finish the story.
Well, it's not much of a story. These people, they asked.
It is now. You got me hooked halfway through.
These people asked everyone to take their shoes off going to the house, which I can respect. But like when you have kids running in and out of the house, it's like you had to take off your shoes like 20 times within the span of an hour and put them on. Is so annoying. And you might think, oh, just keep your shoes off when you go onto the deck, right? But their deck had this huge hole in it where like if you got your foot stuck, it was like Splinter City. Like, and this kid got his whole foot stuck in there. I was like, oh my God, he's probably has like 10 splinters right now. It looked like a complete hazard. Like these people needed to put like a cone on it. It was awful. And then like at the end, my daughter needs to go to the bathroom, and I had already taken my shoes off 20 times. I'm like, I'm so sick of this. I can't. And like she was like, I really need to go, Daddy. So I didn't have time. I just rushed her in, went to the bathroom. I stepped in with my shoes on. I got like so many dirty looks. Like we're not invited back, I don't think, because like I didn't take off my shoes the one time, just because I was rushing to get my daughter to the bathroom. So, and they didn't have any. Again, they didn't have any food. How do you not have food at a party? I don't know what the ketchup bottle.
How many kids were at the party? Like, what's that? Watermelons? What?
What was the ketchup bottle for? The watermelon slices or the potato chips? Like I still don't understand why there's a ketchup bottle on the table. Yeah, I'm not taking off shoes off. Yeah, I wanted to be respectful, but. Especially because my wife she works the father of the birthday boy, he is
same workplace,
right? So I don't want to like mess that up, but anyway,
how many kids were at the party? About 15?
12 to 15.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean it was a 3-year-old's birthday party, so it's not like he knows too many. I got the sense that most of the kids were relatives, so
cousins, whatever.
Yeah. So, because there was one girl who's like 8, I was like, how do you know that? So she was obviously a cousin. So
could have been an 8-year-old babysitter.
Maybe with the wood with the hole in the deck, maybe.
No, the instructions are you can't go outside the house.
Right. Exactly.
And the parents hid all the shoes.
Yeah. Right. Anyway, no, with Fields, I like that pick a lot because you have a receiver core that has Neighbors and that's it. And Neighbors is coming off the torn ACL. And so
probably certainly early on will draw a lot of double coverage.
Yeah, that's true.
So Fields proves because if I were I'm really disappointed they don't have Wendell Robinson anymore. He was a really good receiver for them last year.
That was a big loss for them too. So
where do you go, Atlanta? No, he went to was it Tennessee? Tennessee with Brian Dable.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And Robert Saleh.
Yes. So
how interesting is that? The two New York head coaches of the last few years, the Jets a few years ago, are now in Tennessee.
Yeah, it's weird. I saw a picture of Dable. He looked like he was like 500 pounds. Like his stomach was so extended. And then it turned out to be AI. I got fooled. Someone very fat.
You can't believe any. Well, for all I know, people are watching us and thinking this is an AI. Well, my initials, yes, AI, but it's an artificial intelligence production.
I swear we're real. I swear.
Yeah.
No. So Fields, it kind of reminds me of Emeka Ibuka last year. I know he didn't win, but he was the favorite for most of the season. Because my argument for Ibuka last year was, Chris Godwin's coming off the brutal foot injury. I didn't think he was going to be ready. And then you have Mike Evans with chronic hamstring issues. And I said, there's a chance, but like week 4, Ibuka could be the receiver 1 there, and he was.
Yeah, and he was.
Yeah, and now you have Neighbors coming with the torn ACL. What if he aggravates that injury, or is not ready to come back?
Who'd you say won it last year again?
Tedero McMillan,
Okay.
which is probably the most underwhelming winner ever.
Yeah.
Like
I said, I like what the Giants did, so I could see Fields getting a lot of attention, a lot of opportunities.
Yeah, and Fields, I think, is a good player. I had him in the second round.
Oh, well, I'm talking at 40-1.
Yeah. I think it's a great shot for sure.
With a team that figures to be much improved offensively this year.
Yeah, I think it's just a great number there. I think there's a good opportunity for that. I like the call a lot. The other one I brought up yesterday to Charlie, and he liked it a little bit, but not as much, was Jonah Coleman at 50-1, who went to Denver. He's the running back, and I just don't like what Denver has at the position. They have J.K. Dobbins, who's hurt all the time, and R.J. Harvey, who is a huge disappointment last year for a lot of people. I personally did not like him. A lot of people are like, say draft R.J. Harvey like over and over again. Like people are
for fantasy.
Yeah. People I respect were like, draft RJ Harvey, 4th round, 3rd round. I'm like, I will not take him in the 6th round. I really don't like this guy. His horrible field vision. He just takes huge losses all the time. And he got his chance because Dobbins got hurt, and he was a big disappointment. And so what if Coleman comes in is just way more impressive than the other two, and he runs away with the job? I think that and Denver has a good offensive line. I think there's a chance that Coleman could win it, but what Charlie said against
what would he have to do? Get 1,000 yards rushing?
Yeah, I mean, look, it's not a lot of competition here, you know.
Yeah. What was Charlie saying?
The one negative for Charlie is like, because Sean Payton loves to use multiple running backs, which is true.
Yeah.
But if Dobbins is hurt and he just is just so upset with Harvey, then he may not have a choice, you know. So I wouldn't go crazy with it, but I do like Coleman a little bit. I like Fields more. And there was one other I wanted to bring up. I think he was Chris Bell. Chris Bell at 75-1. I like him a lot. I think he's Charlie compared him to like a DK Metcalf.
Where did he go?
He went to Miami. He went to Miami in the 3rd round. So Charlie compared him to like a DK Metcalf type of athlete. He fell because he had a torn ACL, but he is, by all accounts, like he's progressing really well and should be ready week 1. So if he's healthy, he could be the number 1 receiver easily in Miami, because there's really nothing there. Like they have Theo Wees before the draft. Theo Wees Jr. was the number 1 receiver. So Chris Bell could take off of that job and run, and they have an upgrade at quarterback, which we think maybe, and Malik Willis, and so is the only target really. So like, why not Chris Bell? I don't know. I think he's worth a shot at 75-1. You know, I do want to monitor the injury though. I wouldn't bet it now. But if it sounds like he's healthier, then I would bet it.
Now, who's he competing with now?
I'll list the receivers for you in Miami, and tell me if you're impressed. Theo Wees Jr., Malik Washington, Tutu Atwell, and Jalen Tolbert.
Well, the only thing there's Malik to Malik.
Yeah,
becomes the passing combo.
Yeah,
pass catch combo.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really hard to say, because we don't know what kind of season he's going to have. But then again, same thing with our guy with the Giants. We don't know how good a season the Giants are going to have. Although I think the Giants are nicely positioned to make a run at the playoffs. This is a team now. It's already 5 seasons ago, 2022, under Dable, his first year, but we haven't had a lot of changeover on the offense as far as that goes.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Heidenreich for he's not listening, unfortunately. That would be fun.
No.
All right, do you want to pop over to defensive and then call?
Yeah, let's do that. Show? Yeah, let's do that. Let me get that back up on the screen again.
Oh, and by the way, before I read this list, the Super Bowl team I wanted to mention was Cincinnati at 22-1, because I've been bearish on them for a while because their defense is so bad. But adding Dexter Lawrence, adding Cassius Howell, and again, we don't know how these rookies are going to do, but I like.
Well, Lawrence is a big.
Yeah.
First of all, you don't have Hendrickson, who was probably thinking about a contract during all of last year.
Yeah, he barely played last year.
And now Lawrence, they already gave him an extra $1 million, added $1 million to his contract for next year.
Yeah, look, they've Lawrence. They signed Jonathan Allen, who's just okay at this point in his career. They signed Boye Mafe, a good pass rusher. Cassius Howell, they drafted in the second round. They signed Brian Cook over from the Chiefs, who's a really talented safety. Takari Davis, a third round pick at a corner, I think could be okay. They signed Kyle Duggar. It's good. Good backup safety or backup depth for the secondary. Like this is not the team I hated last year because their hard defense.
What'd you say? You got them at 22-1?
On DraftKings, yeah, there might be a better number out there, but yeah, 22-1. I think it's worth a shot. If Joe Burrow stays healthy and you have an improved defense, like this is a team that can make.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of upside on Kansas City, on Cincinnati, because they finally addressed their biggest bugaboo for the last few years. So I would agree with Kansas City.
This would be the best defense the Bengals have had for a while. For at least.
I did Dallas. I think I mentioned at 35-1. They're already down to like 23-1 in some places.
Oh wow, okay.
But I did that again about a month ago because I expected them to do what they did in the draft. Not necessarily the players, I thought.
Yeah. Well, Lawrence is worried about the contract, Professor. Yeah. I think that has something to do with it. Anyway, so defensive rookie of the year odds. Like I said, this will be the last thing to talk about. So we have Bailey plus 450, Bain plus 550, Reese plus 650, Styles plus 750, and Downs also plus 750. You have Delane at 10-1, and they have Mesidor 16-1, Malachi Lawrence 18-1, Dylan Thieneman 20-1, Jacob Rodriguez and CJ Allen are 22-1. Kedrick Falk and Emmanuel McNear-Warren and Cassius Howell are all 25-1. D'Angelo Pons 28-1. Jacob Golday 30-1. TJ Parker and Josiah Trotter, Peter Woods, Zion Young, Colton Hood are all also 30-1. Jermod McCoy 40-1, along with Chris Johnson, Gabe Akis, and Avion Terrell. R. Mason Thomas and Anthony Hill and Brandon Cisse and Caden McDonald are all 50-1. Kristen Miller, Derek Moore, and Caden Stukes are all 60-1. And Lee Hunter and David Igbinosun are both 75-1. So Andy, what do you like here for defensive rookie?
Go back up. Yeah, okay, you're there now. The guy that I really like defensively, I've liked them all during the lead up time, is Sonny Styles.
I think that would be my favorite to win without odds.
He's going to a team that has a defensive minded head coach.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And can make an immediate impact. And the offense on that team, assuming Daniel's healthy, should be able to put points up. So they could have go back to their winning season. Last year was a throwaway season because of the quarterback injury.
Mm-hmm.
They never really had a chance.
Yeah.
And as a result, they got the number 7 draft pick.
So would you bet it at plus 750? Or would you look for a better number? Oh, obviously you want to look for.
I would look for a better number, partially because unlike the offensive rookie of the year, where I think we only had maybe 3 guys or 4 guys under 10-1.
Yeah.
Here you've got 5 guys there, and then you got another at 10-1. It's a much more crowded field. Then you take a look at a guy like Caleb Downs.
Mm-hmm.
If we see the improvement out of Dallas, and this is a playoff team this year, 11-6, he might be a big reason.
Yeah, I think
there are a lot more guys that I could see. Yeah. Go ahead.
I was like Charlie. I believe he liked Bailey, and I think Styles or Downs. I can't remember who the second one was, but it was one of the 750 guys.
Yeah,
that you pointed out. So he liked Bailey as well. And do you see anything for a longer shot? I see one who really stands out to me.
On the screen right now, you see?
Yes. Yeah.
It's not Malachi Lawrence, although I like him.
Yeah. I no, it's not him. No.
Where did Falk go to?
Tennessee.
Yeah, that was one of their better defensive pickups. Because I could see him coming in from, Clemson? Or Auburn.
Auburn, yeah.
Yeah. Who is it?
CJ Allen, who is the
Okay.
new Colts linebacker. This reminds me a lot of Carson Schlesinger last year, who won Defensive Rookie of the Year for the Browns. Like a very instinctive linebacker who is on a team that's not very good and just could collect a lot of tackles. And the Colts had such big issues in linebacker. They really had nothing, and they drafted CJ Allen in the second round. Like I said, he's very instinctive. I thought could have gone late first round. He's that talented. And to get him second round, I thought was a steal. Like he could be just a monster linebacker who posts a lot of tackles, kind of like Sonny Styles too. I mean, Styles is a better player, but Allen could just lead the league or be in the top 10 of the league in tackles this year. So I like that a lot at 22-1. But I do think, like I said, if odds aside, I think Styles is the guy who wins. So I wouldn't mind betting both of them.
Yeah, I mean, there's plenty of time to make. Like I say, I could make a case for Caleb Downs, and I can make a case for Sonny Styles because they are both. I think they're both impact rookies playing on defenses, assuming everybody is healthy, on offense, supported by really good offenses.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And
I like Washington's offense with Daniels in there.
Yeah, and we'll see about Allen's offense with the Colts with Daniel Jones. That is, I think, one of the biggest mysteries that we have heading into the season is how he's going to do coming off the torn Achilles.
Yeah, that was, I mean, even with the injury, that's still a huge collapse they had.
Yeah,
it's not unprecedented for that team.
That was I mean, they looked like the best team in the NFL. That game they had at
midseason, when they destroyed the Chargers.
Yeah, they ripped them apart, and that was a great Charger defense. They were ranked in the top 5, and they did whatever they wanted to against that Chargers team.
I like the Chargers this year.
Yeah, I do too. I do too. What are their odds?
They got what? Mike McDaniel, who found his niche as offensive coordinator.
Yeah, Chargers are 16-1. Do you like him at that number?
I like them. I like them to start 1-3. Then we'll get 30. Then we'll get 30-1.
Yeah. Well, we'll see what the schedule is. That's a big factor too. If they play like Denver and Buffalo, I don't know who their opponents are.
Because again, we're only talking about 6 games, but that's still about 40% of the schedule.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, conversely,
35% of the schedule.
Yeah, I was saying conversely, if they do play like Denver, Buffalo, Baltimore in the first 3 games and they win all 3, you're like, oh my god, we missed the boat on that one.
Then to take the 1 off, it'll become 6-1.
Yeah, we're gonna have some FOMO for sure.
It'll probably be 10-1 at that point, but because they play in a division where you have to believe the Raiders are going to be improved.
Mm-hmm.
Denver will probably be what Denver was, and you really have to think that the Chargers will be improved because they'll have their offensive line intact. We hope.
Yeah, we'll see. That is a big question mark. Of course, always the Chargers and the Niners. They always tend to get hurt. So we'll see if they turn it around. But if they stay healthy, that is a very dangerous team. They looked at the start of the year last year. They started 3-0. They looked like the best team in the league at that point. And then they lost Joe Alt in week 4.
Yeah. Who was out of position, but he was the second team tackle because they lost Slater. Yeah, training camp, I believe it was.
Right. Yeah, they lost Slater, and then they lost Joe Alt, and they lost to the Giants because of that. They couldn't stop the edge rush, and the team just was never the same. That Joe Alt came back for like 1 game, and they looked great, and then he got hurt again, and that was it. That was it for them. So, which is it's a shame.
49ers at 16-1 is interesting. It looks like Williams is going to be back.
Yeah,
we don't know about Kittle.
If they stay healthy, Kittle will probably miss the first 4 games.
What's the situation with Warner? Is he healthy?
I assume. Yeah, I haven't heard anything that says he's not. Yeah, so they'll have Bosa back. They'll have Williams coming back. They have Warner coming back. McCaffrey is healthy for now.
Yeah.
They signed Mike Evans.
Did he miss any games last year, McCaffrey?
No. I don't think so. No. See, he led the league in carries, which is a concern for an older player. Coming off the season in which you lead.
It is, but Shanahan's a good coach, and I would imagine that they will probably, at the expense of his carries, use him a little bit more out of the backfield. as a receiver.
I would assume so. Bosa reaches 20-1 for defensive player of the year. It's worth a look. Yeah, I think so.
You could say
And
that, yeah.
Dennis Sutton, dark horse for candidate defensive player of the year. I mean, defensive rookie of the year. I hope not player of the year. Yeah, I could see it. Yeah, potentially.
Tell you what, if he wins defensive player of the year, he should also win rookie of the year.
Yeah, that's true. Every time CMC leads the league in carries, he is hurt the whole next season. Yeah, it is not a good history for McCaffrey in that situation.
It's a concern.
Yeah, it is.
But that's where, again, and I just mentioned it, that Shanahan is smart enough to realize the same thing. Let's take a look at McCaffrey's histories. He gets overused one year, banged up the next.
Yeah.
So let's use him, but use him more sparingly out of the backfield, as a runner.
Yeah, he's not someone we talked about best ball at the $3 million the first. He's not someone I'm going to be drafting at all this year. So just avoid him. And if he burns me, he burns me. I'd rather.
Is he over 30 yet, McCaffrey?
I thought he was 29. I could be wrong. Let's see.
Let's see if I can find that.
He's 29. Actually, no. We're both right. He turns 30 in 2 months, so he will be
Happy
30
birthday.
to start the. Yeah, he'll be 30 to start the year. So yeah, it's a concern. It's definitely a concern.
It's you would normally think that's on the downside of his career, but you never know.
You would think, yeah.
Players are they're such better at conditioning these days. They're better with nutrition and everything. Better at training and all that. That 35 today is like 30 of 15 years ago.
Yeah, well, I mean, what the story is, what Babe Ruth went out like drinking and smoking and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's seems he's 5 years older than Kalen Black. that was a very, very curious pick that the Niners made. A lot of weird picks. That was Niners, like I said, one of the teams I gave an F to. So,
where's Jacksonville as far as they're right at the bottom there?
Jacksonville is they are 28-1.
It's not a bad price.
That is a good number on Jacksonville for sure. I if you asked me to guess, I would have said 20-1.
Or I would have probably said 22-1.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. So that,
I mean, I think right now, given the quarterback situation, 28-1 for Jags and 18-1 for Houston. I don't think there's that much of a gap right now.
No,
between those two teams.
No, Jacksonville was better last year. They won the division.
Oh yeah, no, but I'm saying that even just overall, as far as coming into this season, that the job that they did down in Jacksonville was Cohen did a great job with Trevor Lawrence. How much they're going to miss Achan, we don't know.
I don't think they're going to miss him that much, honestly. I mean, because Liam Cohen does such great work with running backs. Yeah. It feels like he.
Who's the number one there now?
Bashal Tutin, who's I thought he looked pretty decent at times last year. But like Liam Cohen turns water into wine with these running backs. So I'm confident that he can find the next great player.
Who did it with? Was it Bucky the year before?
Bucky Irving. He had Kyron Williams had his best year under him.
Yeah.
And then when he leaves those players, they regress, and we've seen that with everyone, which is why Etienne is all HN, I guess, do you want to call him? He is also someone I'm going to be avoiding in fantasy.
Where did he go?
The Saints.
Saints, okay.
But I do like Kellen Moore too. So I don't think Minnesota wins, but 55-1 seems long. I think we I don't know if you did it, Andy, but I bet Minnesota to win because of we knew that they were pursuing a quarterback when they reached out to the Bengals and asked.
You mean for this coming year?
Yeah, because they reached out to the Bengals to see if Joe Burrow was available.
I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah, and so I thought, okay, maybe who knows? Maybe they reach out to someone else and they get a trade, and they got Kyler Murray, which is better than McCarthy, but at the same time, I'm not very excited about it either. So I do.
Well, they've got some weapons. How's their defense looking right now on the present roster?
Well, they lost Grenard, and they lost Harrison Smith, and so that's a couple guys. But Brian Flores is a really good coordinator.
Yeah.
So he'll be able to piece some stuff together. But I would be shocked that the defense.
Brian Flores is one of those guys. I think he got a raw deal in Miami. Because remember they started poorly and then they started that nice strong second half win.
Yeah.
He's one of those guys that he's so good as a defensive coordinator, just like Spagnuolo. And you pay these guys almost, if not the equivalent of a head coach, to keep them in a position where they excel and their responsibilities are limited to just playing defense or offense, depending upon the side of the ball. But they're so valuable because people who excel for an extended period of time, like both Spagnuolo and Flores have done, that's very tough to replace.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And when these teams lose these coordinators, I think people just kind of brush it off as if it's nothing. I have that I have that famous example I told you about where heading into the 2023 season, the Eagles lost both their coordinators.
Yeah.
And I asked some of my friends are like, oh, how do you think the Eagles are going to do this year? And I'm like, they lost both coordinators. I don't think they're going to be.
That's a 10-1 start.
Yeah, 10-1. Yeah, but then they collapsed. A very, very, very sketchy 10-1 start too.
I was going to say, was that the locker room situation with Hurts and Peterson?
Yeah. Not Peterson. It was Hurts and Brown were at odds. And,
I thought. Okay, I remember the one with Hurts and. Was it Hurts and Peterson? Oh, what was the one with Peterson?
That was Carson Wentz, I think.
Okay, maybe that was it.
Yeah. So, anyway, so I'm like that. I don't like they lost both coordinators, and then they're like, oh, that's okay. Who cares about coordinators? So these are the casuals. Casuals who bet on or I don't even know if they bet, but
let's put it this way: the Eagles win over Kansas City is New Orleans gain.
Yes.
With Kellen Moore.
Yeah. They're
going to be a fun team to watch this year.
Yeah, I can't wait. I can't wait to watch football in general. I watched Jets versus Cardinals. I'd have fun watching that at this point. It's been a while since we've seen a real football.
With you and Evan doing the in-play, absolutely.
I know. I can't wait for that. I know Evan did a bunch of NBA stuff. He texted me a couple hours ago. Okay. Hold on. Evan has a question for you, Andy. But Evan bet Cade Cunningham to score 45 plus points at plus 360 tonight. So he did hit, and Paolo Banchero 45 plus points is plus 640, and he hit both of those.
I didn't even take a look at the box score. I know that Detroit won.
Yeah, both Banchero and Cunningham both had 45 points.
Nice.
Yeah, so I had Banchero 40 plus points at 10-1, but unfortunately I only bet $10 on it. So it wasn't.
And how much to one? How much to one?
10-1.
And how much did you have on it? You said
$10.
So it's $100.
Yeah.
Oh, well, you just covered the cost of what they didn't pay for your daughter's friend's birthday party.
I know. Yeah. With food, we were so hungry when we went home.
Yeah. Did you buy? Well, okay. Here's the question then. What time did the party start and end?
It started at 3 p.m. and it ended. They said it ends when the last guest leaves. Which my wife was like, "We're not staying to the end."
Well, I was going to say, when was the end for you?
We left at about 6:37, something like that.
Okay. So did you stop for dinner on the way home?
Yeah.
To make up for
yeah, we went to
ketchup
Wawa
that you had for lunch. Oh, Wawa, okay.
Yeah, we got a pizza from Wawa.
I love their tuna sandwiches.
I love their meatball sandwiches. Never had so good. Oh, really? I would recommend it. It's so good. Yeah. Meatball with American cheese, and if you want great Parmesan, I don't like Parmesan, but I like that. They have a lot of good stuff. Their pizza's not bad, actually.
Never had their pizza.
Yeah, it's not the bad. It's not great, but it's not like bad. There's some bad pizza out there, but it's it's pretty. It's not bad. Okay, I got a text from Evan. He says, ask Andy how he can play live player props. I was talking to a friend tonight in Vegas, and he has no available markets. Not even Kalshi works in Vegas. Yeah,
Kalshi is not here, and what's the other one?
Polymarket. Polymarket's not even in the U.S. It's outside the U.S.
I am not aware of in-game player props.
Yeah.
I'm not aware of any place that has the in-game playing props. I don't really look for them. but I know that they have pregame player props for a lot of them, depending upon. I mean, I know that one of the places here, like for baseball this year, you can play strikeouts for certain pitchers. You can say, first inning scores or, players to get a hit or things like that. But I'm not aware of, and I don't, like I said, there may be, but, Circa, for example, I don't even recall if they have in-game wagering, basic in-game wagering.
Wow.
At least I don't see it on the app when I take a look at it during the season, or at least that I recall. But I'm not aware of any. But I'll ask around.
Okay, it's so archaic that you don't have it out there.
Well, the Nevada Gaming Commission is way behind the times. They're getting a little better. Look, for years and years, we couldn't bet on MVPs and Super Bowls and things like that. That's only been about 6 or 7 years that they've been able to do that.
That's crazy.
Whereas that was right off the bat, DraftKings FanDuel, that was one of the first offerings they had when they, started going full blown.
Yeah.
I'll see if I can find something on that.
Yeah, and now there's Kalshi and everything. You could bet on everything now. It's really evolved.
Right up to Roger Goodell's voice.
Yeah. It's crazy. And Vegas is just falling behind in the times. Like you can't, it feels like so limited out there.
Vegas is still a really good experience that I think people would certainly enjoy, especially during football season and March Madness. But as far as betting offerings, it's rather ordinary.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, they do now have, like in a regular NFL weekend, they will have, depending upon the place, maybe a dozen to 15 props on every football game. Some of the real basic stuff. But those are all pregame things.
Yeah.
I like I said, I can only do so much with my time that, unless I wanted to listen to somebody, which I will on occasion, but normally I don't. I like, doing everything myself as far as that goes, looking into things and spending more time doing it rather than just, there are a lot of people I rely on, or not rely on, whose opinions I respect.
Right.
So if they like something, I will take a look at it. I may or may not go with it, but I'll certainly take a look at it. But, there's only so many things you could think of, if you're playing in game. Now I know that you and Evan do a lot of your in-game based upon what, algorithms to a certain extent?
It's the situation of the game.
Yeah.
That's
all part of it. In other words,
yeah,
there are certain mathematical principles that you follow.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Which is the way to do it.
Mm-hmm.
It's volume betting to a great extent.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I know you like to do a lot of the ladders.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they worked out really well.
To set with the same player or the same prop, whatever it might be, whether it be a team or a quarterback or a running back or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it's like my advice to people always is find something you enjoy and specialize in it.
Yeah.
Money's the same.
Yeah, right. That's true.
And again, when you're looking at individual player performance, you're only interested in the performance of one player as opposed to the 11 guys, the other 10 guys on the field in football.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, obviously there are situations where you may have a running back and he has a 15-yard run negated by a holding penalty. Can't do much about that. But the point is that you are focused in, and the individual player's strengths and weaknesses, and your handicapping performance. It's that's where specialization comes in. Mm-hmm. And we're seeing more and more places, websites and things like that, and some some are pay sites, etc., that are putting up daily projections for NBA players, assists, rebounds, points, etc.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of information out there, and they probably use a lot of the similar algorithms, but you can there's only 24 hours in a day, and I know, Walt, you need about 4 or 5 of those hours to sleep on a good day.
5 hours. It's been a while since I've had 5 hours. So.
No, but I mean that you have to balance your time and find something that you specialize in. Now I do a lot of my work is based on numbers, so it's a little bit easier. I mean, I when I determine a number, at least I have an idea of what I'm looking at as far as, okay, this is the better team and how much I think they are the better team, but then there are other things that go into whether or not they're worthy of a bet. Okay,
Yeah.
but when you use numbers, I use numbers as I used to use numbers. I said this story before. I used to use numbers, and even public handicapper would use numbers as the end result. In other words, okay, I do this, I do this, I do this. I come up with a power rating. Okay, now because everybody has power ratings that are very similar, that's the starting point. Now you have to look into the health of the players. You know, is this a favorable situation, unfavorable situation? In other words, I guess the way I say it is, handicapping is both an art and a science. Years ago, you started with trying to get the science, and then use the artistic components to determine if a play is worth making. These days, very often you look at situations, and then you go back and see if the numbers justify a play.
Yeah.
You know, because it's just because with the advent of computers and the internet, all the numbers are very close. But it's the amount of importance that you attach on the intangibles, like scheduling.
Yeah.
You know, like familiarity, like historical success or recent success or lack of success against certain teams or in certain situations, or teams that play a 3-4 versus a 4-3 and things like that.
Yep.
And there's ability now with all the databases out there. You can actually, as I'm sure you know, because you do it with your database, you can actually check those results very quickly. How does Tennessee do against a 3-4 versus a 4-3?
Yeah.
Or more importantly, how does a coach do against such and the defensive or offensive coordinators do against certain styles of offense and defense?
Yeah, before all this online database stuff, I know you have something on your end, but I used to have a notebook, and I used to just keep track of it. It's it's changed a lot over the years. It really has.
I used to, by the way, I used to find, I still do to the extent that I use it, writing things down is a very good way to avoid making mistakes, because when you review it and you catch it and you're writing it down, so you're focusing for that brief moment on the number, and then you see something a little bit later on another game and you say, wait a minute, this doesn't look right.
Yeah.
And you go back and you check and you find out that, there was something that, it was actually what you thought it was, or no, that was something that was wrong, as opposed to when you are looking at a spreadsheet that has been presented to you and you just look at it, you might overlook something that is an error that you would catch if you are more fully focused on that specific item.
Yeah, that is definitely true. You definitely catch more of the stuff when you write it down.
Because what I still do, well, I don't do it as much for the colleges because I rely on certain databases, but I still, for the NFL, I go to NFL.com every week and I take a look at their game books for all 16 games, and I write them down, the key stats that I need, on a pro forma sheet that I print up for every week. And then I, by hand, it does take some time, not a lot of time, but then I type all that information in to my database that I use. So I'm focusing, and when I'm typing it in, I'll notice something like, I say, gee, were they really this good? Were they really 27 out of 35 for 400 yards or something? As opposed to if you're just looking at it, you might just overlook it.
Yeah.
In other words, there's more of an involvement putting something on paper and then putting the paper into the computer than just beginning your analysis by looking at the computer.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah. All right. Anything else before we head out? It's 3 hours and 15 minutes. So I didn't think it was that long. And then I looked at the time like, oh my God, it's 2 a.m. here.
Yeah,
so
I can't believe it's almost. It's all right. No, I think we've said it. We've done as much as we can do. Yeah. And we'll get back into doing some more things next week. And of course, I think the schedule will be out on the 14th of May, maybe. They haven't announced it yet, but after. It was like right during the middle of the first round of the draft last week. They already talked about the schedule is on its way.
Yeah, it's usually 2 weeks after the draft, so I would assume then. So that'll be a fun time to look at the week 1
3
lines
weeks after the draft. It's usually 3 weeks after.
3 weeks. Okay.
Well, 3 weeks after round 1. But okay. I think the schedule releases may have been on Wednesday, but I think it's Thursdays.
Okay. Well, yeah, we'll see. Either way, it'll be fun to do. We could look the week one lines and have a better idea for win totals. So that'll be a lot of fun. And like you said, it's your training camp. So we can't wait for that. So yeah,
good funny bet would be how many different quarterbacks will Browns name as their starter.
Yeah,
I would say that even better is how many quarterbacks will be named as their opening week starter beginning on July 1st.
Yeah, it's true.
Because that could be a very fluid situation.
It certainly could. Yeah, that's true. All right, Andy, you want to talk about thelogicalapproach.com or anything else?
Yeah, not really much going on there until I start getting back into football and start putting some things up there for content. But if you want to go back and take a look, I think I have it up there. The final numbers from the 2025 season as far as power ratings and stats and things like that for the colleges and the pros.
Okay. All right, guys. Thank you so much for watching and commenting. I really appreciate it. And thanks especially to Kevin Kovac for the $10 super chat. Thank you so much, Kevin, for getting us over the poverty line. Really appreciate your contributions as always. Guys, we'll be back on Friday with Tom if he's available. I think he is. So I haven't heard anything from him otherwise, but it'll be fun. We'll be talking about, I'm sure, more of the
Who's tomorrow night? Who's tomorrow night?
I'm taking tomorrow night off because I need to catch up on work and sleep too, to be honest. So maybe I'll take a nap or something. Yeah, so I need to just need to do some post draft stuff like I usually do, like look at mock draft results and how reporters have done. And I like to do a combo mock draft where I combine the two previous drafts. And
has Conrad moved up in his positioning for the 2044 draft yet?
Not yet. He's been misbehaving. So, yeah.
So he has an attitude issue that's dropping him.
I know. Yeah. Character concerns. He was playing video games yesterday. We had to go out to dinner for my cousin's birthday and he refused to give up the controller. And then my wife grabbed it from him and he smacked her. She sent him to his room. He was crying. And it's going to be a negative on the scouting reports. So, yeah.
Who do you think he is, Mr. Lemon?
Yeah. Well, Lemon's a lot worse. A lot worse. So, yeah. Anyway, thanks, guys. Once again, we'll be back on Friday. Please hit like, subscribe, comment below, share this video, visit waltzerfootball.com. Tons of content. And Andy, great doing the show with you after we took last week off. So we'll be looking forward to next week as we talk about some more.
I'll probably have some more thoughts on over-unders next week as well. I know we went back. I have them listed somewhere where we went on those, but it's something that gets me. I've not made any over-under plays yet. I've made that one future play on Dallas for the Super Bowl. I've not yet done any of the exacta bets that are now available as well for the Super Bowl.
Okay, I have a few in just from bonus bets, so nothing too serious, but yeah. All right, guys. Hope you have a great night, and I will talk to you.